It was noon the next day when we were able to discuss our next course of action in earnest. Yves and Hugo had just returned from their patrol around the surrounding area. The injured Scien was still on the bed, and the others took a seat nearby. The expression on everyone's faces was glum. It would be difficult to have constructive conversations. Still, Scien started the conversation by bringing up something positive.
研究所の奪還ですか?
Taking back the institute?
あまり現実的じゃねえな。この人数で攻め込むのはちと無謀すぎる。
Doesn't sound very realistic to me. We don't really have the manpower to storm a place like that.
それは承知の上で策を練ると言っている。
I understand that. Which is why I said we should come up with a plan. I wasn't sure what everyone would say. She's still going through it. Mother was participating, but she didn't say a word. Her face was pale, and she stared at the floor with hollow eyes. Scien let out a sigh, seeing how heavy the atmosphere in the room was.
すぐに答えを出せとは言わない。とりあえず外の状況はどうなっている？
I'm not saying we should set a plan now. How are things outside so far?
完全に俺たちは指名手配扱いだな。特にあんたはこの国を呪う死神扱いって感じだ。
We're all enemies of the public. Especially you, being death and all.
民衆たちがまだ懐疑的だったら救いの手があったかもしれないけど、あなたを信じてくれる人はいないと思います。
We would have more options if the people had their doubts. But I don't think there's anyone who believes you right now.
そうか。
I see.
何にせよ、シアンさんが動けるようになるまでは、マティスや自警団から情報収集をしておきます。
In any case, we'll have Mathis and the corpse continue gathering information till you recovered, Scien.
それと、研究所奪還を検討するためにも、内部構造や詳細を教えてもらえると助かります。
Oh, and it'd help if you could tell us everything about the Institute, so that we can offer suggestions on regaining control.
それくらいかまあ。俺は俺で奪還のための策を練っておく。
Not a problem. I would devise a plan on my end.
それを聞いても納得できないようだったら、改めて反対意見を聞こ
う。If you don't like what I come up with then, you can lay out your reasoning.
言われなくともそのつもりだ。こっちは命がかかっているんだからな。
Yeah, we'll do that for sure. After all, our lives are at stake here. We were being chased and didn't have much freedom. But Scien hadn't lost his will to fight. But with the conversation over, Scien's body quickly went limp. His wounds must still be painful. Scien, please don't push yourself. Why don't you get some rest now?
う。わかった。少しの間休ませてもらう。
I'll do that. I'll get some sleep while I still can. Scien lay down on the bed without objecting. In just a few seconds, he was fast asleep.
シアンさん、辛そうだね。
Exhausted. Mm-hmm. When he complies that easily, you know he's not in great shape. Yes, he's been pushing himself quite a bit.
まあ、あれだけの重傷で生きているだけでも奇跡みたいなもんだよな。
Well, it's nothing short of a miracle that he survived with those wounds. Another silence filled the room. Do you mind if I ask you something? Not wanting to waste even a single second, I somehow mustered the strength to speak up. About Scien's idea of wanting to take back the Institute. What are your thoughts?
俺は正直に言うと巻き込まれたくない。アドルフの仇は討ちたいとは思うが、敵があまりにも強大すぎる。
I honestly don't want to get dragged into his mess anymore. I do want to avenge Adolf, but the target's too powerful.
言い方は悪いが、シアンさんが亡くなったら、こっちは投降することだってできるわけだ。そうすりゃ手配だって解除できる。
I know this sounds bad, but we have the option to give ourselves up if Scien dies. That would lift a bounty on our heads.
でもそううまくいくかな。
I doubt that would work.
だってシスターサロメの施設はセレスやアドルフが所属していたってだけであんなことになってしまった。
True. I mean, you saw what happened to Sister Salome's orphanage just because it was Cerez and Adolf's home.
一度でもシアンさんの味方をした俺たちがそう簡単に見逃されるとは思えない。だったら俺は戦いたい。
I doubt they'd let us go, since we already sided with Scien. If that is the case, I want to keep fighting. Eves, you want to take back the Institute?
そうだね。だってシアンさんは冤罪なんだろ。このまま全ての罪を背負わされて殺されるのはいくらなんでもひどすぎるよ。
Yeah, Scien's innocent, right? It'd be awful to see him being executed for crimes he didn't commit.
それにリライバーの研究だって彼がいてこそ進んでいるんじゃないか。もう必要ないとは思えない。
Yeah, his death would be too big a hit to their livelihood. The livelihood of the country. Our life for research is able to advance because of him. So I doubt he's too expendable.
イブの言い分にも一理あるか。
Guess you have a point, Eves. Eves is willing to talk and listen to Barreau, but even he couldn't endure the crimes of the royal family. Which means the rest is... We then turned our attention to Mother. It seemed like she heard what we said, as she slowly looked up after noticing that we were looking at her. The royal family should be killed. She mumbled to herself. Huh?
研究所を取り戻したところであの王族たちが生きている限り何度でも同じことが繰り返されるわ。
Even if the Institute is taken back, the same will continue to happen if the royal family is still alive.
本当に奪還したいというのなら奴らを皆殺しにするしかない。
If you really want to take back the palace, that place, you will need to kill them all. She said so in a very calm voice, but... Cold sweat rolled down our backs at the intense pressure we felt from her.
まあ
I mean, I
そ
agree
の
with
意
the
見
plan.
は
I
も
like
っ
the
とも
plan.
ですけど。
Let's do it. Let's do it. I like it. Well, I suppose you're right, but...
でもそれはいくらなんでもアドルフたちの無念は俺だって晴らしたいですけどさすがにやりすぎなんじゃ。
But why? Although that would mean she would probably kill herself too, considering she is one. That's, I know we want to avenge Adolf and the others, but that's a tall order.
我が子が殺されたっていうのに、黙って指をくわえていろというの？
You're telling me to sit here quietly after my child was killed?
あなたたちは王族がどれだけ下船なのか知らないから、そんな悠長なことが言えるのよ。
You're only able to say that because you don't know how horrible and lowly the royal family is.
幸せだった私にあいつらが何をしたのか。
I was happy. But then they... Mother looked worse with each word she muttered. She began to speak faster and faster, until...
あいつらは私の子供、家族を殺したのよ。それに自分たちの利益のために国を。
シスター・サロメ
And then,
どうしたんですか？
and then she began to rap. Sister Salome, what's wrong? Mother, are you okay? Something was definitely wrong. As we couldn't hear a word she was saying now. We looked on in confusion, unable to get through to her, when...
何をしている？
What are you doing? Scien woke up from his sleep, from all the commotion. Scien, something's terribly wrong with Mother. Hearing my plea for help, Scien squinted his eyes and looked at Mother.
ああ、リライバーによくある症状だ。興奮しすぎるとメモリーの処理が間に合わなくなることがある。
Yes, a common issue amongst relivers. The memory is unable to fully process data due to extreme excitement or tension.
何か対処法はあるんですか？
Is there a way to bring her back?
とにかく落ち着かせるしかない。ベッドにでも寝かせてやれ。
You need to calm her down. Just let her rest in bed or something.
わかった。セレス、彼女のそばについてやってくれ。
Got it. Ceres, stay with her. Okay. Eves and Hugo briskly lifted Mother and carried her away to another room. Some time had passed. Mother, how do you feel? I slowly peeked inside after giving her some time to rest.
セレス、さっきはごめんなさいね。変な取り乱し方をしてしまって。
Ceres, I'm sorry about earlier. I just felt so distraught. Thank goodness, it's our usual Mother. I let out a sigh of relief and walked over to her side with an old tea set on a serving plate. Mother, are you thirsty? Here, please drink this. Eve's found some wild tea leaves outside that we could brew. I won't trust them. I mean, he did offer to make, fruit out of licorice petals, so I'm not sure we should trust him. Let's check on a book and make sure those are edible.
ありがとう。本当なら私がしっかりしなきゃいけないのに、情けないわね。
Thank you. I should be the one supporting everyone. I'm pathetic. Please don't say that. Anyone would feel the way you did after experiencing what happened. She went quiet again. I bet no matter how much time passed, she would never be able to talk calmly about the tragedy at the orphanage. Naturally. That is not something you get over.
どうしてこんなことになったのかしら。
Why did this have to happen? Well, I couldn't respond to her question. Mother probably heard on the way here what happened at the Institute when we were attacked, but I need to tell her what happened myself. After all, it is my responsibility. Let me explain.
そういうことが言いたいわけじゃないの。
That's not what I was trying to say. Huh?
ずっと一緒にいるんだもの。あなたたちが私に隠れてシアンの味方をしていたことくらい気づいていたわ。
I've known you for a long time. I knew you were hiding the fact that you were helping Scien.
それにアドルフ自身がそれらしいことを言っていたしね。
Adolf himself said something along those lines. Mother, I could feel her love and compassion from the words she spoke to me without blame, as well as a great deal of regrets. I'm very sorry. If I had acted so mindlessly,
だから謝らなくていいのよ。相談してくれなかったのはお母さんとしては寂しかったけれど。
now you don't need to apologize. I must admit, I was sad that you didn't discuss it with your mother, but
そうじゃなくてね。今回のことは私への天罰なんじゃないかって思えたのよ。
that really isn't the point. The point is that I believe what happened is my divine punishment. Sad. Divine punishment? That was completely the opposite of what Mother deserved. But you're the one who raised us, when no one else was willing to take us in. There's no way a kind person like you deserves to be punished. Mother smiled sadly.
私はね、慈善事業として施設を経営していたわけじゃないの。
I wasn't managing the orphanage purely out of goodwill.
この国の未来を担う優秀な子供を選別していただけよ。
I was selecting talented children who could lead this country to a better future. Selecting? What do you mean by that? For what purpose?
私とシアンが前々から知り合いだったのは知っているでしょ。
You are aware I known Scien for a long time.
それは才能のありそうな子を施設で育てて彼のもとに研究員の卵として引き渡していたからなの。
I was raising talented
そういう
children
意味で私は彼の支援者だったのよ。
and sending them to the institute to become researchers. I suppose in that sense I was supporting him. I never knew. It must have been a secret that she didn't even disclose to Alpha. Adolf. I was about to call him Alphonse. Why Alphonse? Who the hell is Alphonse? Elric? Adolf. But what's so bad about that? You were raising the children to become the future of this country. Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, they both lost their bodies, so... Maybe that's why I did that. I'm horrible. It is. I'm sorry.
それだけじゃないわ。
That's not all.
あなたを施設に引き取ったのはその体質を利用するためだったのよ。
I took you into the orphanage because of your abilities. You mean me?
あなたが起こすと言われている不幸、この国にまとわりついている死の呪いに酷似しているでしょ。
This misfortune you supposedly caused sounded very similar to the curse of death that afflicted this country.
だから私、あなたが本当にこの国を呪う死神の生まれ変わりか関係者の血筋なんじゃないかと思っていたの。
Which is why I thought you were death, reborn to curse this land, or perhaps someone related to the curse.
それにアドルフもあなたほど目立った体質ではないけど、普通の人より呪いの進行が遅かったでしょ。
And you remember how Adolf didn't exhibit any symptoms of the curse, even at his age? Now that you mention it, Adolf was so strong and healthy, I sometimes forgot he was 21.
観察結果次第ではいつでもあなたたちをシアンに渡すつもりでいたわ。
Depending on how things progressed, I planned on sending you two over to Scien.
すべては国の呪いを解くため、国の礎とするために。
All for the sake of lifting the curse. Sacrifices for the country. So you mean Adolf and I were... We were actually destined to end up being tested inhumanly, like those criminals? And this was gonna happen through the mother who raised and guided us? Noticing my expression, Mother continued to speak sadly.
昔の私だったら犠牲を前提とした研究なんて絶対に協力しなかったわ。生きるためだとしても品性だけは売り渡したくないもの。
The old me would never have supported research requiring sacrifices. I couldn't have traded my integrity for that purpose.
だけどそれ以上に王家に対する焦りがあって。
But beyond that was my frustration toward the royal family. She said that there was a reason she wanted to lift the curse of death so badly. She slowly started to explain. Backstory. I became a reliver around 60 years ago. Through the use of technology, Scien developed when I was 21 years old. Back then, I lived in harmony with my child, who was left behind after my kind husband passed away from illness. I was bothered by the curse that encroached upon this country and the ethos of the citizens.
リライバー技術があれば我らは不滅だ。
We can live on forever through the reliver technology.
いくら死んだとしてもリライバーになれば転生できるのだから。
We can die as many times as we want now that we have reliver technology. he says that in a way where it's like... where he's excited to die. This guy's crazy. Using newly found reliver technology was no reason for people to take their lives so lightly and accept death so readily. Which was why I said,
この国の倫理観は間違っている。リライバー化の成功だけで満足してはいけない。
the ethics of this country are terribly weak. We should not be so reliant on reliver technology.
私たちは他国に存在するという 普通の人間になる努力をするべきだ。
We must put in effort to live life like the humans outside of this country. It really is. They say. Like in Lost Salute, it's not a healthy mindset to have for these people, the country, the way they live. And with that, I began to research the curse from a different point of view. But that didn't last long. Because she died. Because I was pursuing the mystery behind the curse, the royal family feared that it would invite disaster and try to kill me. Because of that, I was separated from my only child and met Scien by coincidence during my time in hiding. As you well know, Scien was born a genius, and a savior who extended the people's lifespans through reliable technology. Which was why I thought he would dismiss my ideas, but surprisingly, our objectives were the same, as we both sought to lift the curse. So I decided to cooperate with Scien, and went into hiding in Coin.
それからは本当にいろいろなことがあったわ。
So many things happened afterward.
設立したばかりのエクソシスト教団に入って呪いについて研究をと訴えたこともあるの。でも結局そこも追放されてしまった。
Wasn't she the one who created the Society of Exorcists? I thought so, but... Okay. I'm like, yeah, so... I guess she's twisting it a little bit. I joined the Society of Exorcists when it was established, to research the curse, but in the end, they excommunicated me. Or, as you could say, executed me.
そしてついには愛する子まで殺された。
Executed, excommunicated, same thing. And finally, my dear child was killed. Mother.
それでも諦められなかった。シアンに協力していればいつか呪いや王家にも打ち勝てると思ったから。
But I didn't give up. I thought that if I cooperated with Scien, I'd be able to defeat the curse and the royal family one day.
施設の責任者になったのも全てはそのためだったのよ。
That is why I established the orphanage and became its matron. Mother's shoulders slumped as she finished her story. She must have remembered the suffering she went through back then. I didn't know Mother had such a past. Mother had spoken so much, as though everything needed to be let out. Next, she began to explain the truth behind the fire from before.
そうそう。以前ミロがあなたに薬を盛ろうとしたことがあったでしょ。
Before I forget, do you remember when Milo tried to poison you? Yes. Eves almost died after shielding me from the horrible explosion.
ええ。実はあの薬、私の部屋から盗んだものだったの。
Yes. To tell you the truth, he stole that drug from my room. Huh?
昔から呪いについて研究したりしていたから、一応そういうものも持っているのよ。
I've been researching the curse for a long time, so I have a stock of various drugs and medicines with me.
私には科学者としての才能がないから、すべては無駄だったけれどね。
Then again, I couldn't make good use of them because I wasn't much of a scientist.
ただ、どうしてあの薬品で爆発が起こったのかは私にもよくわからないわ。
In fact, I still don't understand how it caused that type of explosion. So that was it. I felt that the discomfort I felt at that time had dissipated a little. So that's why Milo didn't say where he got it from. He didn't want anyone to be suspicious of Mother. I totally forgot about that. Mother knew that, which is why she didn't reprimand Milo too harshly.
ここまで話せばわかるわよね。私は天罰を受けるに値する人間なの。
Mom, next time put all your dangerous chemicals on a top shelf or something. Or put them in a locked box. Just saying. It all makes sense now, right? I'm a person deserving of divine punishment.
自分の信念のために家族を犠牲にし、今もなおあなたたちを利用しようとしている。
I sacrificed my own family for my own agenda. And now I'm trying to use you and everyone else.
そういう浅ましい女なの。
Without a doubt, I'm a despicable woman. Mother's voice was quiet and remorseful. It was true that I felt a sting when Mother said I had been one of her research subjects. But I don't think so. There was no way I believed that the love she gave me all these years was fake. Mother, you did what you could to try and help me and Adolf from Scien. And I don't recall you ever testing me or even trying to get me some of my blood. Mother, you always thought about us first and protected us with all your might. So why? Yes, Adolf Elric. I swear I've convinced myself of that name just because of that one slip. Who's Edward then? Edward Sonko. You know, let's just swipe her hair to the side. And then we'll have it complete. If you really wanted to find a way to lift the curse, then you wouldn't have warned us not to go near Scien.
それは
Well... A few seconds of silence. Mother began to speak in a trembling tone.
家族だと思ってしまったからね。
It's because I saw you two as family.
最初は確かに打算から接触したわ。でもあなたたちと暮らしていくうちにかけがえのない存在になって。
At first, I was thinking of using you both for my own sake. But you both became so dear and irreplaceable to me.
子供がいる幸福を思い出させてくれたあなたたちをとてもじゃないけど研究材料として提供する気になんてなれなかった。
You two made me remember the happy days I spent with my child. Which is why I didn't want to give you up to become test subjects.
それだけのことよ。
That's about all I can say now. Mother squeezed out her love in words. After hearing her speak, I spread my arms, which oft once held Adolf, and embraced Mother. Then everything's fine. Whatever your initial reasons are, you still kept us safe and didn't betray us for anything.
そんな簡単なことじゃ。
It's more complicated than you think. Things don't have to be complicated. Mother, I'm still here. Alive and well because you love me. And Adolf joined the corps to try to keep everyone safe. Because he wanted to repay your kindness. I didn't want her to think she wasn't a good mother. So regardless of the situation, there's only one person we can call our mother, and that's you. Hmm? I don't want anyone else, Mother. I could laugh, cry, hope, and feel despair. I felt human emotions because of her. She showered me with love and gave birth to the person I was today. I embraced her with all my mights, so that she would know how I really felt. I could feel Mother trying her best to keep from crying. It must be her pride as a mother, not wanting anyone to see her cry. So instead, she wrapped her arms around me.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
私にとってもあなたたちは大切な子供よ。お腹を痛めて産んでいなくとも大切な
You two are my precious children. I may not have given birth to you, but that doesn't change the fact that you're both my family. Sweet. Her hug was very warm, and very different from what I experienced with Scien yesterday. We held each other tightly until our cold bodies finally became warm again. Mother, what are you gonna do now? We're probably gonna end up working with Scien to take back the institutes.
奪還についてはもちろん手伝うつもりよ。けれど王家についてはもう少し考えてみるわ。
I'm planning on helping too. But in regards to the royal family, I need to think about it a while longer.
自分の人生をすべて投げ打ってここまで生きてきたのよ。今さら後戻りなんてできない。
I've given up everything in my life to get this far. I can't turn back now.
大事な我が子をたくさん失ったのだからなおさらだわ。
Especially after mourning the children I lost. Mother clenched her fist.
だから私はシアンの味方をする。そうすることが呪いの解明と腐りきった王家を滅ぼす近道になるのならば。
That's why I'm going to side with Scien, if doing so will lead to identifying the curse destroying the putrid royal family.
もはやこれは執念と意地よ。感情として継続されていなくても記憶はその無念を覚えているから。
I'll move on persistence and stubbornness alone. Even if my emotions don't carry over, my memories still remember everything. Yay, persistence and stubbornness. Mother. Her grudge against the royal family would not be alleviated so easily. If I could, I would curse those men who laughed as they executed Adolf. But I still hope there was at least one person in the royal family worth saving. Which was why I couldn't fully agree with killing everyone.
それにしてもさすがシアンね。こんな窮地に陥っても絶対に諦めないなんて。
I have to admit, it is very much like Scien to never give up despite the odds. Yes. I feel like he's moving on persistence and stubbornness alone, just like you, Mother.
それはきっと
We love that.
彼にとって死の呪いに打ち勝つことが生きる目的になっているせいでしょうね。
That's probably because his sole purpose in life is to defeat the curse of death. Purpose?
ええ、きっとその決意だけは何があったとしても揺るがないと思うわ。
That's right. I'm sure his determination will never break, no matter what happens.
私とシアンはいわば呪いに挑む同盟者だもの。
Scien and I are like
その気持ちはよくわかるの。
allies, seeking to challenge the curse, so I know exactly how he feels. The determination was something I didn't have in the life I lived up to this point. Scien had been challenging the curse of death, dedicating his whole life to find an answer. Challenged the curse? Oh, wait. Why? I looked up to see how strong he was all this time, and yet... For some reason, those warts didn't seem to move me at all.
「俺が率いるゼロ班はその感情をあくまで記号とみなし関与せず」
My Team Zero simply views emotions as code, and we leave it at that.
より効率よく死の呪いに対抗できる肉体的に優れた耐久度の高いリライバーを作ることを目的とした派閥。
Instead, we aim to create relivers of such physical durability that they can effectively counter the curse of death.
いわば生存重視の効率派。
Our curse is on a survival efficiency.
この国に救う死神の呪いを完全に打破する方法を探すこと。
My mission is to find a way to completely defeat the curse of death that eats at this country.
つまり根本的な解決こそが俺の最終的な目標だ。
In other words, to get rid of it for good. The conversation I had with Scien about the curse flashed through my mind. What was this feeling? I didn't think Scien and Mother were wrong for resisting this country. But... A strange feeling lingered in my heart. What'd you think of? What are you thinking? Mother finally regained her composure, and we formally began a discussion of taking back the institutes. We decided to put our plan into action a few days later after Scien's expected recovery. Yves and Hugo began to plan by plotting the routes and estimating obstructions based on the map and blueprints of the institutes. Mother was working with them to find a way to safely lead civilians from danger using information she got from Mathis. As for Scien, he was focused on his own recovery while I attended to his needs. But he continued to work on Reliver's research in the meantime. Scien, do you really need to do more research at a time like this? Yes, always.
必要なことだからだ。
He can't stop. It's impossible for him. Tis the life of a workaholic. It's because it's necessary. Scien winced in pain as he continued to write something in bed. He was doing what he could to fight despite the situation. Still, there was something getting in Scien's way, a bite from the wounds he sustained from Burrow. Not good. His days were numbered by the curse, as if the Grim Reaper was holding a scythe over him. I had heard that cough many times before, but now the coughs were coming from Scien's mouth. Scien?
なんだ
Perhaps it would be best if you called it a day and had some rest?
お前も分かっているだろう。今の俺にそんな時間はない。
You know very well that I have no time for rest. Well, yes, but... Scien ignored my suggestion and continued his work. My being here would probably get in the way of his efforts and waste his remaining energy. Then let me go to another room so that I don't get in.
ここにいろ。
Stay here. Scien looked at me and told me to stay. And when Scien tells you to stay, you stay. Huh? But
今は手持ち無沙汰でも何かすぐに用事ができるかもしれない。お前は俺の雑用係だ。
I may not need you now, but something may come up later. Don't forget that you're my maid,
だからそばにいろ。
so stay close.
返事は
I can't hear you. Yes. He says all that, but he just wants us here. As ordered, I sit down in the bed next to him.
俺の体のことだったら気にする必要はない。
You don't have to worry about my health.
研究所を奪還する際にまずリライバー設備を奪えばいい。そこで新たな肉体を作る。
We can regain control of the manufacturing facility when we take back the institutes. And I can then create a new body for myself. Are you serious? Goddamn ants. I got it. Yeah, sure, I got it. Like I said, we have an ant problem. They finally made their way here. When I looked at him with concern, he continued calmly.
しかし肺を強化したクローン体は失敗だったな。強化の仕方が良くなかったのか、理論自体が間違っていたのか。
That said, I did fail in creating a clone with strengthened lungs. Perhaps the process, or even my logic, was faulty.
何にせよ、次は長持ちする肉体を作らなければ。
In any case, the next body I create has to last longer than before. Last longer. That strange feeling inside from when I spoke to Mother returned. It was starting to bother me once again. Oh, Scien? I still didn't know what the strange feeling was, so I carefully chose my words. Scien, are you only focusing your efforts on developing Reliver technology? Let me rephrase that. Why are you researching a way to strengthen Relivers?
愚問だな。もちろん呪いに対抗するためだ。何度も繰り返し言っているだろう。
That's a stupid question. To fight the curse, of course. I've been telling you that repeatedly. Yes, that's right. I heard from Mother that you two are like allies challenging the curse. And you mentioned yourself that you wanted to save us by lifting the curse of death from this country.
それがどうした？
So what? I'm curious. I could see now. I finally knew what strange feeling was. Scien, you've been researching Reliver technology. But you haven't been researching the curse itself, have you? Is reviving repeatedly into Reliver bodies and clinging to our lives really the answer we need to defeat the curse? It might be just me, but it looks like you're just finding ways to buy time endlessly.
なんだと？
What? What felt strange to me was his inconsistency. If he really wanted to find a way to lift the curse, he should research the curse itself, and not try to find ways to coexist with it, but... Scien. Perhaps your objective and method have switched places. Scien's face went pale, hearing my thoughts.
違う。これは呪いと向き合うために必要な研究だ。寿命が短ければ呪いを解明する時間も取れない。
No, this is necessary research to face the curse. I need time in order to uncover the truth behind the curse.
俺が国民たちの寿命を伸ばすためにどれだけの研究を重ねたと思っている。
Do you know how much time I put into my research to extend everyone's lives?
呪いによる虚弱状態への進行を減速させるため、クローン体の脳、心臓、筋力、神経など、すべての機能を調整した。
I modified every function in the brain, heart, muscles, and nerves to slow the deteriorating effects of the curse.
お前には理解できないことも数多くしている。意見を言うのは構わないが。
It was easy to see where he got lost in
もっと対局を見て
this.
ものを。
Since the first step is to allow himself to live longer so he has time to research the curse. But he got stuck on that. It's like when you... It's the equivalence of, in a game, when you level up a character to defeat a boss, but you focus so much on leveling the character that you start to forget about the boss. Or that it becomes your focus. That, like, all the little aspects of making yourself stronger becomes the focus. Instead of just, you know, accomplishing the task. That's how I kind of equivalent it to. I can't say that has never happened to me, so... Mm-hmm. But it's something like that, something along those lines. And then he convinced himself that this was how it needed to be. There's more involved that you can even fathom. I don't mind if you voice your option, but you need to look at the bigger... Scien didn't finish his sentence, suddenly going silent. I had no intention of changing my opinion, as it was he who taught me to stay true to my convictions. Was I wrong in what I said? It's all going through his head. 10 seconds passed, then 20. A minute passed after what felt like an eternity.
時間稼ぎの研究。
Research to buy time. Scien suddenly began to mumble, as if questioning himself.
今回問題になった肺の研究もあくまでより強靭なリライバーを作り時間稼ぎをするためだった。
My research into strengthening the lungs was to create a more resilient reliver so that I could buy more time.
そうだ。技術を進ませ苦痛を和らげたとき俺は何をしていた？
I see now. What did I do after making advancements to relieve the pain from symptoms?
より丈夫なリライバーを作るために新たな研究をしようとしていた。
I immediately went into research to create more resilient versions of relivers.
死の呪いから目をそらして。
I wasn't looking at the curse of death. Scien began to cough violently after muttering to himself. His palms were covered in blood. Scien! He looked at his hands as his shoulders began to shake.
俺は呪いを解くのではなく耐えることに執着していたのか。
I was obsessed with fighting the curse instead of getting rid of it.
呪いの正体がわからないと無意識に敗北を認めて。
Perhaps I already accepted defeat, knowing I couldn't discover the truth behind the curse.
最初はこうではなかったはずだ。少なくともあの女と手を組んだ時は呪いに立ち向かおうとしていた。
It wasn't like this in the beginning. At the very least, I was trying to fight the curse. When I decided to work with that woman, his shaking stopped.
確かにリライバーを生み出すまでは早かった。
It's true that I was able to create reliver technology in a short time.
だがそれから先はどれだけ研究を重ねても呪いを解明することすらかなわず。そう解く以前の問題だった。
But I couldn't find what was causing the curse, no matter how much time I spent in research. Yes, I uncovered nothing.
犠牲だけが増えていった。
Only sacrifices were made.
リライバーという延命手段を得てもなお呪いには手も足も出ない。それに気がついたとき
Even after prolonging my life as a reliver, I was still helpless against the curse. By the time I realized it, Scien? I didn't think what I said to him was wrong. But it wasn't something I should have said to someone trying to recover. I reached out to him as I scolded myself for making a bad call when... His laugh seemed unfitting in the situation. Let him do his thing. Scien was laughing heartily as I looked at him in surprise. I had never seen that expression on his face before, and with tears in his eyes. Scien? What's the matter? Are your wounds?
安心しろ。俺はどこもおかしくはない。いや むしろ今までがおかしかったんだ。
I've always been mad. Don't worry, I haven't gone mad. No, if anything, I've been mad until now.
感謝するぞ雑用係。お前のおかげで完全に目が覚めた。この俺に弱さを自覚させたこと、称賛に値する。
Thank you, maid. I'm finally awake now. You deserve praise for making me realize my weakness. He does.
こんなに笑ったのは初めてだ。
He sounds so alive.
腹が痛い。
I never laughed so hard before. Damn it. My stomach hurts. Scien? He is cute. I wasn't sure how to react as Scien continued to laugh like a completely different person. Scien looked at me in a way opposite to utter confusion about the situation. He looked at me joyfully with gleaming eyes.
そうだ。よくよく考えれば派閥争いなど無意味だった。ダーハトだって勝手にやらせておけばよかったのだ。
Yes, now that I think about it, the politics and factions were meaningless. I should have just let Donut do what he wanted.
ではなぜ俺は奴らと争っていたのだと思う？雑用係、お前にはわかるか？
Why do you think I was in conflict with them? Can you answer me that, maid? Huh? I can't.
答えは簡単だ。感情など無駄だという考えを広め、自分と同じ思想のものを増やし、共感を得たかったからに他ならない。
The answer is simple. I wanted to gain sympathy by spreading the idea that emotions were useless and having others believe in me.
共に呪いから目を背けてくれる同志を俺は求めていたのだ。
Simply sought comrades who would look away from the curse with me.
同時に感情など余計なものがあれば作業効率が落ちてしまうと無意識のうちに考えていた証明でもある。
At the same time, I would be able to prove to myself that emotions were useless as they would reduce work efficiently.
俺の本当の使命はこの国のために呪いに縛られない完全なる生を与えることだというのに。
How laughable. Considering my true mission was to provide true life so that no one would be bound to the curse anymore.
自分から不完全な姿を欲していた。
I was actually trying to become imperfect.
俺は無意識的に助けを求めていたのか。
I was subconsciously seeking help. We'll help you. The gift of the god, Scien Brothais. After years and years,
なんて情けない。あろうことか神と名乗った身で。
how pathetic. I called myself a god, but
俺は人に落ちかけていた。
I was almost about to become human. He regained his consciousness from birth. I somehow spoke up to his mad laughter filled the air. So in other words, you're gonna give up on finding the truth behind the curse?
誰がいつそんなことを言った？
Who said so and when? Huh? But
確かにこれまではそうだった。しかし今からは違う。そう。お前の一言で目が覚めた。
that was you and me. But I'm different now. Yes, maiden of death, you woke me up with your words. And now I'll make you my wife.
俺は神に戻る。
I'll return to being a god.
いや、さらなる領域に至る。
No. I will transcend the level of god.
誰の手も借りない。誰も犠牲にしない。この身ただ一つで呪いを解明してみせる。
With nobody's help, with nobody's sacrifice, I will uncover the truth of the curse myself.
今まで散々くだらないとバカにしてきた感情によって
I will use what I've looked down upon and ridiculed for so long. I'll use emotions. Now we're getting somewhere. He needed this. His artificial eyes sparkled brilliantly. His eyes contained the heat of passion and madness in bringing people to life, and I was completely mesmerized. So this is the real Scien Brofeis. The person I looked up to. The amazing person I fell in love with. What a blinding and powerful person he was. As I continued to look at him with infatuation, Scien spoke.
どうだまだ文句あるか
What? Do you have something to say? No, not at all. You're gonna find true salvation for the people without sacrificing anyone. I don't want Adolf and the children to have died for nothing. I will do everything I can to help you.
いい顔をするようになったじゃないか
You're finally looking better.
どうせ俺たちはこのままでは処刑されるのを待つだけの身だ思いも感情もただの記録となって消えるのみ
We are all destined for death. Our thoughts and emotions will disappear as mere records of the past. Scien suddenly took my hand.
だったら自分たちの手で未来を切り開くだけだ
In that case, let's take the future into our own hands. He made a bold declaration. I like how he grabs her hand when he says that. 4 days had passed, and Scien finally recovered. We decided to discuss the essentials of the plan to take back the institutes.
研究所奪還作戦の最中にあなたのクローン
I
体
want
を
to know
作り
what
出すの
Mother
は
is gonna. I
ま
want
ず
to know
は
what
最
her
優
reaction is
先
gonna be
とい
when
うことね
we officially become a couple. I can't wait to see that. So you're saying that our priority is to ensure that you're able to create a clone of yourself during the operation?
そうだ
Indeed.
でもそうなるとかなり難しいですね教えてもらった内部構造によれば培養器があるのは中枢です
But that just makes things harder. If what you told me is true, the incubator is located at the center of the institute.
当然敵に見つかるだろうしこの少人数で真正面からぶつかり合うのはまずいよな
Which means the enemies will find us first. I don't think it's a good idea to face them head on with our numbers.
なら敵を味方につければいい
Then we need to bring the enemies to our side. The human turned god spoke so confidently that we looked at him with confusion.
研究員たちをどうやってあなたへの指示は王族が流したデマでかなり下がっているはずよ
You mean the researchers? But how? The misinformation that the royal family spread must have had an impact on your reputation.
それに今は対立していた別派閥が実権を握っているのでしょ
In addition, is the opposing faction now in power?
その通りだそいつらを寝返らせる
That is correct. We're gonna make them come to our side. The whole house felt like it shook despite there being only a few of us here. It's like it was actually just an earthquake. So how? The researchers who were on Donut's team were very happy that they could finally conduct the research they wanted. I doubt they have any reason to turn and come to our side.
簡単な話だ。それ以上のメリットを提示すればいい。
Simple. We need to present them with greater benefits.
例えば、あいつらにとっての悲願は
Supporting their mission, for example.
全感情を持続できるリライバー、すなわち心臓、メモリーの増強を俺がその場で実現してやるとかな。
They were working to create relivers with emotions. So I can make that happen by increasing the memory in the hearts.
それってそれなりの研究者たちがずっと実現できなかったことですよね。
But they're not
そん
Scien.
なすぐにできるものなんですか？
But isn't that something the researchers have been working on for so long? Is it so easy to accomplish?
俺ならできる。
It is for me.
すごい自信だな。
And I kinda love it. That's some ego you got there. I thought you said that emotions were inefficient. I responded in a teasing way.
まあ、俺も少しばかり思うところがあってな。それにこの状況ではなりふり構っていられん。
Well, I do have something in mind. And it's not as though we have many options in our current situation. Scien shifted his eyes away from me and responded as if wanting to change the subject. Is what your suggestion gonna be? Going to require test subjects?
確かに犠牲は出る。が、出ないとも言える。
It's true a sacrifice must be made. Then again, it might not be a sacrifice at all.
どういうことですか？
What do you mean?
少なくともお前たちが想像しているような他者の犠牲は出さん。
All I can say is that I won't be sacrificing others like you may be imagining.
この身一つで全てを成してみせると死神に誓ったからな。
I did vow in front of the mating of death that I would make everything happen myself. Scien.
そうは言っても具体的な話を聞かないことには賛同できないわ。
But we
その
can't
方法教えてもらえるのよね。
but we can't agree with your plan if you don't disclose specifics. You will share the details, won't you?
ああ、この研究の肝は
Yeah. The key here is... Scien smiled eerily. I love that smile. He then explained to us how to create relivers that could retain past emotions.
というわけだ。
And there you have it. We were totally speechless. Our minds couldn't process what he just told us.
そんなこと本当にできるのか。つか、あんた正気か。
Both? Can you really do that? Or are you insane?
理論的には分からなくもないけど、下手をしたらシアンさん死ぬんじゃ。
I guess it makes logical sense, but if you're not careful, Scien, you could die.
手際が悪かったらそうなるだろうな。
Only if things don't go as planned. Mother's face was completely pale, as she hadn't expected to hear that. To be honest, I wanted to do everything I could to stop him from resorting to such a dangerous plan. A side of me wanted to suggest that he become a normal reliver first, and think of his next step then. But what I said aloud was, I agree with Scien.
セレス
We really don't have a choice apart from what he said, and
どうせ俺たちはこのままでは処刑されるのを待つだけの身だ。思いも感情もただの記録となって消えるのみ。
we are all destined for death. Our thoughts and emotions would disappear as mere records of the past.
だったら自分たちの手で
In that case, let's
未来
take
を
the
切り
future
開く
into
だ
our
け
own
だ。
hands. I believe in you, Scien. No matter what stood in my way, with his dedication to saving human life, I trusted him from the bottom of my heart. You've responded to my unwavering words with a gentle smile.
分かったよ。俺も全力で君を手伝う。シアンさんとも改めて友人になりたいしね。
Got it. I'll do my best to help. I'd like to be friends with Scien again anyway.
まあそれ以外に道はないからな。
Well, not like we have a choice.
研究所中枢に入り込むのはこの間通った地下通路を使えばなんとかなるかもしれないな。
About getting to the lab, I think we should use the underground passage as before.
さすがにあれだけの穴をこの短期間で塞ぐことはできないだろう。あそこから登っていけばいい。
After all, I doubt they can get that hole fixed and covered in such a short time. We can climb up through there.
ただ見張りはいるかもしれないからそこはしっかり気をつけよう。
But they could have the guard stations, so we'll need to keep that in mind. Everyone is back to their usual selves, as we continued our conversation more aggressively.
その後は今説明された通りメモリーを増強したクローン体にシアンが生まれ変わればいいのね。
After that, you revive into a new clone body with an updated memory feature like you explained.
そういうことだ。自身の肉体を証拠に俺がダハトの研究を支持すると表明すればあいつらもこちらに下るだろう。
Indeed. I'm sure everyone will come over to my side if I show my support for Donut's research, with my own body as proof.
結局あいつらは俺と同じ研究者。自分たちの目的さえ果たせれば王家の命令など二の次だ。
True. Everyone there is a researcher like me. They couldn't care less about what the royals say if their objective can't be fulfilled. But that wouldn't free you from any punishment they might have planned, right?
冤罪の証拠集めは後回しでいい。とにかく俺がさらに性能の良いリライバーを作ったという事実が必要なんだ。
We can gather proof of my innocence later. My priority is showing everyone that I can create a better modified reliver.
それさえあれば状況はひっくり返るし、王家だって俺を殺せんだろう。
The tides will turn in an instant, and the royal family won't be able to kill me.
あとは今まで通り、いや、今まで以上に王家を脅しつつ、手綱を引いてやれば。
Once that's done, I'll continue. No. I will threaten the royal family more than before, and make sure they're controlled. Yay! Threaten them! I like threatening the royal family.
その必要はないわ。
That won't be necessary. The mood in the room shifted with a cold voice. Mother?
研究所の奪還作戦については私も文句はないわ。民衆を味方につけるためには奇跡を目の前で見せつけるしかない。
I have nothing to say about your plan to take back the Institute. I also agree that a miracle would be needed to get everyone on our side.
ただ王族まで生かし続ける必要はある。あん
But
な
is there
連
a
中
reason for the
生
royal
かしてお
family
い
to
たところで
exist?
得られるものは何もないわ。
There's no meaning in keeping them alive if there's nothing to gain from it. She's out for blood.
むしろほとぼりが冷めればまた今回のような事件を引き起こすに決まっている。
If anything, I bet they will cause a similar incident like this once things begin to settle. Mother. Her hatred of the royal family is intense.
それに新所長だってすっかり王家の言いなりなのでしょ。
Besides, isn't the new director a complete puppet of the royal family?
現に施設への襲撃だって止めなかった。そんな男がまたシアンの部下になることを素直に受け入れられるのかしら。
They didn't stop the attack on the orphanage. Will such a person honestly return to work under you again? She's insulting her own child, and she doesn't even know it.
あなたたちは人の欲を甘く見すぎている。だから新所長だけは王家と共に始末した方がいい。
Maybe let's not. You're all underestimating human greed, which is why I suggest that you kill the new director along with the royal family.
これが私の出した結論よ。
That's all I have to say. Mother was speaking very calmly, but she couldn't hide the dark flame of hatred for the royal family burning in her eyes. Yves and Hugo kept quiet. Not because they were afraid, but because they knew they weren't ones to respond.
非現実的だ。
That's unrealistic.
お前は簡単に殺せというが、いつどうやってやるつもりだ？
You said exterminate them, but when and how do you suggest we do that?
それは奪還作戦の混乱に乗じて。
Well, during the operation we can.
今までの話を聞いていなかったのか？今回の作戦は隠密が重要となってくる。そんな目立つようなことをしている暇はない。
Haven't you heard what we said? Operating in secrecy is critical, so we have no time for anything that attracts attention.
あの鬱陶しい王家を排除できればと考えているのは俺も同じだ。だがやるにしても踏むべき手順というものがある。
I do agree that life would be much simpler if we could get rid of those pesky royals. But there is such a thing as priorities. Can we do it another day then? Next week, maybe? Next month? 5 years?
では奪還後に王族たちを処刑してくれるというの？
So you execute the royal family once you take back the institutes.
それもできない。排除はするが命までは奪うつもりはない。
That's not possible either. I will get rid of them, but I won't kill them.
どうして？
Why?
そもそも研究所の奪還と権利の独占はイコールじゃない。これはわかるか？
Taking back the institute and reclaiming my authority aren't the same thing. Do you understand that?
いいか？俺がまた所長に返り咲いたところで、この衛兵たちや国民たちを意のままに操れるわけじゃない。
Listen carefully. I cannot control the royal guard or the citizens simply by returning to my post as director.
俺たち研究員はあくまでも王家に媚びを売られている立場だ。
We researchers are in a position where the royals are trying to stay on our good side.
だから俺にできるのは王家の権力を弱体化させることだけ。
Which is why the only thing I could do is weaken the royal family's power.
奴らが好き勝手できないように脅しをかけて 都合のいい傀儡とするのが落としどころとしてはちょうどいい。
Threatening them against acting on their own and making them my puppets would be the best result.
俺はこの国の王になるつもりはない。
I have no intention of becoming king. Yeah, he kind of hated that before.
だけど、あいつらは私の大切な子供たちを。
But they killed my precious children. Mother, can you please accept what Scien is planning?
セレス、あなたまでそんな。アドルフや子供たちがあんな無残に殺されたのよ。それなのにどうして。
Cervez, what are you saying? Adolf and his children were killed mercilessly. Why? I also hate the royal family. And after learning of your past, I can't tell you not to hold a grudge against them. But we're talking about ways to move forward now, not seek vengeance.
前に進む。
Move forward. The objective of this operation isn't only to try to prove our innocence from the false claims. We're trying to truly find a way to cure the curse of death. Scien promised me yesterday he's gonna use Reliver technology, not to extend life, but to defeat the curse. I believe that our fight will give us the opportunity to create a new future where the curse no longer exists. So please, Mother. Please don't use Scien's mission for Adolf and the children's death. Please. Please don't use this as a reason to kill the royal family. If you really want to use him, do so for salvation, not hatred. I pleaded to her in a shaking voice, knowing how cruel I was being. But... It's okay, Mom. Mother covered her mouth with her hand and quickly ran out of the room. Mother,
大丈夫でしょうか。
I hope she's okay.
何にせよ、あいつは作戦に参加させない方が良さそうだな。計画実行時に暴走する可能性がある。
Regardless, I think it's better to keep her out of the operation. There's a possibility she may destabilize it somehow.
万が一戦闘になった場合、足手まといになるだろうし。離脱はちょうどいい。ここで待機させておけ。
And in the event of a battle, she may be a hindrance. Her objections came at the right time. We'll leave her here.
わかりました。じゃああとは作戦をもう少し詰めるか。
Understood. Well, guess we should go into the details now.
シアンさんの寿命のこともあるし、できれば明日にでも実行したいところだが。
Scien doesn't have much time left, so we should put the plan in action soon, even tomorrow.
セレス、君はどうする？危険だからシスター・サロメと一緒に残ってもらってもいいけど。
Cerez, what about you? It's probably gonna be dangerous, so you could stay with Sister Salome. No, I wanna go too. I might be a burden, but I think you'll need as many people as possible to watch over Scien while he makes his new body.
わかった。でも、絶対に無茶はしないで。危険だと思ったらすぐに逃げるんだよ。君は盾なんかじゃなくて、一人の女の子なんだから。
Got it. But promise us you won't do anything rash. Run if you see danger. You're not a guard. You're an ordinary girl, okay? Okay.
よし、それじゃあ作戦中の配置を決めておくか。自警団の連中にも仕事をしてもらうとして。
Great, then let's set our positions. We'll get the corpse ready and... Yuz and Hugo continued to talk about the route to get to the laboratory, as Scien looked at them and decided. We were finally gonna confront the curse. Remembering his words made my heart race with excitement. Oh, that's right. If we're gonna lift the curse, then I should tell Scien about my power. Uncle strictly told me not to, but I felt like I was gonna regret it if I didn't tell him now.
なんだ、作戦について何か質問でも。
What, do you have a question? I quietly called Scien outside and began to speak as he leaned against a wall. I think I can help with discovering the truth behind the curse.
なんだと？
What? Scien, you know that everyone calls me Death, right? What if that wasn't just an insult? What if I was deeply connected to the curse of death? What would he do?
どういうことだ？
What are you implying? I took a deep breath, then responded with resolve. It seems as if I have the power to accelerate the curse. I killed many people until now because of that. My power is inactive now, but I'm sure I'll become death again someday. Which is why you might be able to uncover the truth behind the curse if you experiment on my body. I hadn't seen Scien look at me with open eyes like that before. But then he quickly shook his head, as if trying to get something off his mind.
必要ない。
It's unnecessary. Huh?
さっきの俺の言葉を聞いていなかったのか？俺は自分一人でこの国の呪いを解くと決めた。他に犠牲を出すつもりはない。
Don't you remember what I told you? I'm gonna get rid of this curse by myself. I have no intention of sacrificing anyone.
お前のような暗い女一人に研究を左右されるほど落ちぶれてもいないしな。それに
I'm not so far gone that my research requires the assistance of a gloomy girl like you, and...
未来の伴侶となる女を好き好んで殺す男がこの世のどこにいる？
Who in the world would ever willingly kill their future wife? Huh? My mind went completely blank. The words he just said were what I could only dream of, but it happened so suddenly, I couldn't even blush. Uh-huh? Huh? It took a few seconds for me to realize that my heart was racing madly. Seeing me so confused, Scien looked at me with great interest and a touch of glee. Now imagine, I'd be speechless too. To say it so casually. Actually, I did hear a story of something like that actually happening. Not a few actually, like 3, 4, 5 Christmases ago. My sister had a Christmas party, and she invited her friends. And one of them, they invited their spouses too. And one of them was telling a story that the way her husband proposed to her was they were watching a movie, and he suddenly said, like, he just casually like, hey, when you want to marry me, or something like that. Or like, was it like he casually handed over an engagement ring or something, and then got up to get a drink or something like that. But it was something so, I remember it being like described as like so casual, and like it was like, what? So this kind of reminds me of that story. It is. But she ended up saying yes, so. They had a Scien Cerez relationship, I guess. The day finally arrived. But that was a fun story, so I thought I'd tell it. Yes, exactly. Well then.
実際に実験できるようになったのはいいけど、なかなか理論通りにいかないな。
I'm glad I can finally run experiments, but it's not going as well as expected. As Donut worked on constructing a new memory system, one of his subordinates hurried to his side.
ダハトさん、お取り込み中失礼します。また王族の方がいらっしゃいました。それも2人も。
Donut, I'm sorry to bother you. The royal family has come again. This time 2 of them.
え？どうしてまた？
One of them is bad enough. Ugh.
研究所内の視察がご希望らしいです。でも、所長の許可を得てからにしようと。
They wish to have a tour of the institutes, but we thought we should get your approval first.
いやいやいや、
So
連
much
日
for that.
申し訳ない。どうしても確かめたいものがあってな。
Well, I'm sorry for coming so often. But there's something I wanted to check.
ダハト殿、調子はどうですか？
How are things going, Donuts? The door opened without permission, and in came the 2 royal family members strutting toward Donuts.
こちらまで来てくださったんですか？そんなことしていただかなくてもよかったのに。
You came all the way here? Please, you didn't have to waste your effort.
何？ついでにダハト殿とも話したいと思ったのでね。少しお時間をいただいてもいいですか？
Come now, we wanted to speak with Donuts. You do have time, don't you? The 2 looked down at the smaller Donuts and began to speak in a fawning manner. Donut's forehead vein was about to pop, but he somehow managed to suppress it.
はい、問題ないですよ。そういうわけだから、君は席を外してもらってもいいですか？
Yes, why absolutely. You heard them, so would you please give us a moment? Maybe Donut will murder them for us. That'd be great.
はい、失礼します。
Yes, if you'll excuse me. Sensing that this was for something other than research, he dismissed his subordinates, not wanting him to listen to corrupt motives.
で、今日はどんなご用件ですか？
So what really brings you here today?
いや、何？君が早速新たな研究をしていると聞いてな。その様子を少し見に来たのだよ。
Well, we heard that you were beginning research on a new subject, so we wanted to see what it was about. Donut snorted lightly in response, knowing he could get away with it for now.
今日は護衛の数少ないんですね。
You don't have many soldiers with you today.
いつもだったらそばにたくさんこの衛兵をはべらせているじゃないですか。それが数名だけっていうのはおかしいなーって。
I mean, you're usually come with the royal guard. I'm wondering why you're without them.
ああ、それだったら国内に散ってもらっていますよ。自警団の残党たちが各地で騒いでいるようですからね。
Oh, they happen to be busy at the moment, tending to those nasty court members causing a commotion around the country.
我々はただ離れつつあった国とこの研究所へ忠誠を取り戻すために兵を動かしているだけだ。
You don't have to worry about
君が気にすることはな
it.
い。
We are moving our men to restore the people's loyalty to this country and the institutes.
自警団どうして今さら
The corpse? Why now? His thoughts were suddenly interrupted. An alarm went off throughout the facility.
緊急研究所内に侵入者発見。直ちに警備兵は対応せよ。
Intruders detected in the institutes. Have the guards move in at once.
どういうことだ。賊が侵入したというのか。
What's happening? Are we being attacked?
一体誰が？
Who in the world?
そんなのシオンさんに決まってるじゃないですか。
Well, now, isn't it obvious that it's Scien? Donna stated the obvious to the two men, who had gone pale. About to come and kick your butts. I mean, he didn't say we can't kill them. He never said we couldn't kick them. He tried his best to make his reply sound as sarcastic as possible.
なんだと。あの男はもう逃げたはずじゃ。
What? I thought he went into hiding.
あの人はそう簡単に諦めるような玉じゃないですよ。いつかは来ると思っていました。
He isn't the type of person to give up so easily. I was actually expecting him to show up sooner or later.
今各地で起こっている騒ぎもきっとそのための布石に違いありません。
I bet the commotion around the country is a part of his plan. It seemed the two royal family members still didn't know exactly how dangerous and ruthless Scien Brofei's really was. Sounds of yelling could be heard from outside the laboratory, with the guards and researchers running about.
どうするのですか？このままではまずいのでは？
What are you going to do? I'm sure he's up to no good.
そうですね。でもこっちだってそう簡単には引き下がりませんよ。
I can see that. Well, I have no intention of letting him do as he pleases. As if conducting an orchestra, Donut swayed his hand in the air to activate a screen colored differently from Scien's screen. He hadn't been leading and giving orders to the guards for no reason. Donut prepared himself to challenge the intruder. His wry smile didn't match his innocent face. We're almost there. It was early morning now. I was in a corner of the garden saying a prayer. There were no tombstones or sign, but Adolf was sleeping here. Adolf, I'm off. We're going, not to avenge you, but to prevent such a sad thing from ever happening again. We're gonna save this country. A gentle breeze. The breeze flowed past my hair, carrying petals from the lycorises. All right, give it your best. It felt almost like my foster brother gently touched my head when I was younger. Adult. The petals in the air disappeared, leaving me alone. I was sure that was I suppressed my emotions and roughly dried my tears from my sleeve. It's that this scene, it just reminds me of the. Have you ever watched One Piece? There's something in there that like this that happens. In one of the openings, you have a visual of it. I think in one of the episodes. But it reminds me. It's like it hurts. It hurts. They both hurt. What is with fiction killing off brothers? Why? Well, wish me luck. It does, it feels bad. Well, I'll be back to take you home. I promise. As I quickly ran to the others, I could feel a gentle presence watching over me from afar. I'm okay. I'm okay.
自警団の連中やクロード家の奴らに連絡はしたんだな。
You contacted the corpse and the Cloud family, correct?
はい。自警団は手はず通り、国の各地で陽動作戦を行ってくれています。これで少しでも研究所内の警備が手薄になっていればいいんですが。
Yes. The corps are creating diversions around the country as planned. Hopefully it'll make it easier to get inside the institute.
マティスたちも電気自動車ですぐそこまで迎えに来てくれてる。敵に見つかる前に合流しよ
う。Mathis and the others are going to be coming any minute in their electric car. We should hurry and get ready before we're caught. Before we get going before we're caught.
ああ。
We were all ready. And they each had their own weapons prepared for this very moment. I also had some medical tools hidden under my clothes just in case. A single figure looked at us from distance. I slowly walked toward her. Well, I'll be going, Mother. My mother didn't say a word. I wasn't surprised, since I was a horrible daughter who rejected her wish.
放っておけ。しばらくの間一人にしてやった方がいい。
Leave her alone. Especially get some time to herself.
これから時代が変わるんだ。こいつだって身の振り方を考える必要があるだろう。
Things will change from here onward. She needs time to think about what she wants to do once we're done. Okay. The transmission from the corpse marked the start of our operation.
よし。そろそろ時間だ。行くぞ。
Alright, it's time. Let's get moving. Even with her departure, Mother didn't say a single word. I think Adolf should blow some wind to her mother too. I feel like she could use a little something. A little comfort. We joined Mathis and Jean, who drove us to our starting point at the beach. Fortunately, we were in a field of Lycoris neoges, where the flowers of misfortune grew. There was no sign of the royal guard around.
この辺りでよろしいでしょうか。
Will around here be alright? Yes, thank you very much. They looked worried as I thanked them and got out of the car.
僕たちはここで待っていますけど。
皆さん、気
Yeah.
をつけてくださいね。
I mean, I'll never not be mad at him,
命
but
だけは絶対に無駄にしないでください。
I'll be waiting here for you. Please be careful, everyone. Please don't risk your lives.
僭越ながら無事を祈っております。
Your wishes mean nothing to me. I wish you all the very best.
ああ、任せておけ。お前たちも危なそうだったらどこかに隠れておけよ。
Yeah, we'll take it from here. If things start to go wrong, you two just go into hiding.
はい。
Okay.
よし。では行くぞ。
Alright, let's go. At Scien's command, we stepped inside the underground passage that we fell into before. The condensation on the ceiling, dripping water from above. We headed deeper into the passage, with the floor getting more slippery by the moment. The plan was very simple. The surviving corps members would divert the Royal Guard around the country. With less soldiers around, we would use the opportunity to infiltrate the Institute. Once inside, we would go to the lab and create a reliver in order to bring the researchers to our side. Surprisingly, there wasn't a single soldier or guard positioned in the underground passage. The only thing we could hear was the sound of us wading through the water as we went deeper into the narrow and dark passage.
やけに静かだな。ここに兵が配置されてないとは思わなかった。
It's too damn quiet. I expected a soldier or two to be stationed here.
考えられる理由の一つとしては、ダハトたちが単純にこの地下通路を調べきれていないからだな。
One possibility is that Donut wasn't able to investigate this underground passage.
ここが海辺とつながっていることを知らなければ、兵なんて配備しようがない。
If they don't know it leads to the beach, there's no reason to station anyone here. And they would probably have people at the beach itself, if they didn't know about this. Here we only
そ
need
こ
to
まで
worry
ダハ
about
ト
the
が無
row.
能とは思えません。だってこの地下通路、研究所に開いた縦穴とつながってますよね。
I doubt Donut is that incompetent. I mean, this passage does connect to the hole we fell through in the Institute.
もともと知らなかったとしても、これだけ日数が経っているのなら、どこにつながっているのかくらい調べるんじゃ。
Even if he didn't know this passage existed, I'm sure he must have investigated the place with all the time they had to look.
だから理由の一つと述べただろうに。
I said it's one possibility. Then, is there another?
ああ、例えば。
For example, yeah.
そう、強力な兵を少数だけ配置している可能性だ。
Yes, the other possibility is that he does have a powerful soldier stationed. Almost forgot about him. What appeared was an entity, perhaps even more fearsome than death.
おいおい、よりにもよって研究所はブローを護衛に雇ったのか。
Hey, don't tell me the Institute actually hired Barreau as a guard. Well, maybe he'll let us go like last time? Nope.
は、しなさそうだな。
No, it doesn't look that way.
よほどシアンさんを殺したいみたいですね。どこかで恨みでも買ったんですか？
He must really want to kill you, Scien. Did you do anything to earn a grudge from him?
心当たりが多すぎてわからん。
I've done enough not to keep count. Hugo rolled his eyes.
とにかくここで時間を食ってる暇はない。二人は先に行っててくれ。こいつは俺とイブでどうにかする。
In any case, we don't have time to waste. You two go on ahead. Yves and I will take care of him.
そうだね。
Yeah. Scien stared as they both stepped forward to cover us.
頼んでもいいのか？
Are you sure?
今さらそれを聞くんですか？もともとこの作戦はシアンさんが新たなリライバーを作り出せるか否かが要でしょ。
You're asking us now? Isn't creating a new Reliver the key to the plan's success?
だったら俺たちはそれを信じてあなたを守り抜くまでです。
If so, we'll place our trust in you and protect you until the very end. You smiled no differently from taking a work order. Yves and Hugo nodded to us as they somehow blocked the halberd that came from above. They must be telling us to go.
オンに切る。セレス、行くぞ。
I owe you one. Let's go, Ceres. Okay. Scien pulled my hand, and we both ran past the battle. From behind, I could hear Karun striking their weapons against Barreau, making the whole passage shake. We ran a good distance, and finally came to the place where Scien fell. We used the rope we prepared to make our way up to the institutes. Like, how did they do this? It would make sense if the rope from the floor was already there, but surely they would have removed that? And if they used a rope to get up, how did they connect the rope to actually get up? Unless they used like a grappling hook? That's the only thing I can think of. Like a grappling hook that they shot up or, you know, threw up to connect to like the edge and then climbed. I suppose that's a possibility, yeah. Yeah, that's the only way to explain it. Maybe it was that they thought Burrow would be enough, or maybe the distractions from by the corps members did their job. There were hardly any Royal Guard soldiers around, and for some reason there wasn't a single Institute guard here. Which meant most were... He probably did. He could have done something like that easily, I'm sure. Hurry and contact the guards. Set off the alarm. Yeah, but...
これ以上人が集まってくるとまずいな。さっさと研究室まで移動するぞ。
We're attracting too much attention. Let's hurry to the laboratory. Got it. We ran down the hall as the researchers stayed frozen from our unexpected visit. Along the way, some researchers and the Royal Guard started to stop us from going forward, but... Scien kicked all of them down with ease. Yay! Time was of the essence. Scien quickly unlocked a new security system, barring us from the laboratory. With little despair, he kicked open the hidden door. We finally reached the laboratory that had brought time for so many people. But things would change starting now. This laboratory would be used to truly save the people in the country. After a certain process, Scien would enter the incubator where he would gain a new body. My role was to protect him in the meantime. Alright, you have a good night. We're almost there. And if you want, I always have the VOD up. We'll be doing Lucas next week. I need to block the door. Scien turned on the security lock, but there was a chance the door might be forced open. Scien, can I use the equipment here to block it?
ああ、問題ない。必要なのは培養機とそれにつながっている機材だけだ。それ以外は好きに使え。
Yeah, go ahead. You can use anything you see aside from the incubator and the connected devices.
その間に、俺はクローン体生成の設定をする。
I'll be setting up the data to create my clone. Understood. Scien worked quietly, periodically spitting up blood from coughing. I used all my might to move whatever heavy objects could be used to block the door. I could hear yelling coming from behind it already. I put my hand against the equipment to help keep the door closed, but...
セレス、こっちに来い。
It's here. Suddenly, Scien grabbed my hand and turned me away from the half-hazardous barricade. Huh? It's my favorite Sichi. He put his lips on mine. It was a very light touch. But this gentle kiss was Scien's first and last gift to me in his current body. His kiss was immensely meaningful. For a few seconds, he kept his lips on mine, as if savoring my existence. His eyes opened with satisfaction. Then he slowly moved his lips away. Scien. I finally spoke his name. And he looked straight into my eyes.
あの時の宣言通り、俺は最後まで恋などしないしできない。
Like I said, I cannot and will not learn love.
それは今の俺の信念であり、何があっても貫き通す。
That is my philosophy, and I will keep to it no matter what.
だから、本当の意味でするなら次だ。
Which is why my real kiss will come later. So then, Scien nodded in response.
この先は感情の持続さえも可能とした神の卵に至ったその時に。
When I say later, I mean when I'm able to retain my emotions after hatching from God's egg.
俺は最初に恋をするならお前がいい。
If I am able to fall in love, I want it to be with you. What he expressed to me was worth more than anything else in the world.
ほんの少しの特別が一体どんな感情へ昇華するか楽しみにしている。
I look forward to seeing what kind of emotion results from this special experience.
この口づけはその前約束だ。
That kiss is a promise to you.
こんな薄情な男に恋した物好きなお前にとって最高の褒美だろ。
No doubt, the greatest gift. For a strange girl who fell in love with me, with a heartless man like me. He smiled so breathtakingly close to me. I don't recall ever telling him that I loved him, but he still said it. He really is confident. I respond with a gentle smile. What lay in my heart wasn't warmth, but pure heat. And I knew that. Having Scien this close, as he looked straight at me with those mad eyes, it felt so good. Of course, he caused a good amount of trouble to me before, but what he gave me isn't enough to be a reward.
これ以上何を望む？
What else do you want? That puzzle. I haven't seen it completed yet. So, while I'm glad that you're gonna be a god again, I would like you to come down to Earth sometime so we can do that puzzle together. Scien's eyes sparkled for a moment at my selfish request, but his usual smile returned almost immediately.
上等だ。次は6000ピースのものを用意してやる。解けないからと泣くんじゃないぞ。
Very well. I'll prepare a 6,000 piece puzzle next, so you better not cry and say that you can't figure it out. Scien slowly moved away from me. He finally got himself ready to create a reliable body that could retain all emotions. The system activated quickly. He immediately took a backup of himself and produced a few clones without souls. The bodies fell to the floor as the incubators opened, and he drew out a shining silver scalpel.
さて、神へ至る創造を始めようか。
Now, time to create a god. Without hesitation, he began dissecting his own body that we just created. His own bodies that were just created. I could tell a god was about to be born. The security system unlocked, and the door I tried to block slammed open, blowing back the barricade. I moved back before the devices fell where I stood, but...
Scien-san!
The person we were fighting found his way inside. Dona was leading the Institute guards, and the Royal Guard to stop us. But it was too late. Welcome, everyone. A new reliver has been born. Welcome to the Church of Scientology. This is your god. I quietly moved aside, and behind me...
遅かったな、ダハト。
You took a while, Donuts. The new Scien Brofise was sitting boldly upon his research device, as if it were a throne of wisdom. On the floor were several bodies that looked like Scien, with their chests carved out. The current Scien's chest bore a rushed incision marks and a heart pulsing underneath. Seeing him, Donut's face suddenly went pale.
それはまさか新たなメモリー。
Don't tell me. A new memory bank?
ご名答。お前がすぐには実現不可能だと語っていたメモリーの増強をつい先ほど自分の肉体に施した。
Precisely. The memory enhancement that was impossible in your hands was applied to me only moments ago.
手順自体は単純だ。メモリーのメイン部分を切り取り連結させた上でベースの心臓に組み込んだ。
The process was rather simple. I removed the main memory components and transferred them to my new heart.
複数の他者の心臓をつなぎ合わせることで不具合が起きるのならば自分自身のリライバーを複数生み出せばいいだけのこと。
If connecting hearts from multiple sources causes a bug, we simply need to create multiple of the same person. That makes enough sense, honestly. In other words, he created an artificial heart.
でもそれだとメモリーの容量が増えるだけで感情は消滅してしまいます。
But that only increases the memory, while the person's emotions disappear.
いいや、それならすでに蘇らせた。
Oh, but I revived my emotions.
な
What?
メモリーの増強手術は記憶のダウンロードまで済ませた状態で行った。
I operated on increasing the memory after I downloaded my memories.
つまりその際に全てのクローン体が受けた痛みも苦しみも生きたまま自身に結合している。
In other words, the pain and suffering that the clone bodies experienced while they were alive were transferred to me.
そんな全員分の痛みを一気に受けたらショック死してもおかしくないですよ。
Impossible! Bearing the pain from all of them would kill you from shock.
そう、俺はその衝撃を利用させてもらった。
Right. So I took advantage of that shock.
手術時に受けた痛みを与えることでかつてオリジナルが所有していたであろう感情を神としての感覚を無理やり蘇らせる。
By inflicting pain during the operation, I forcefully revived the same emotion from my original body into my new body as a god.
いわゆるショック療法というやつだな。
Call it shock therapy, if you will. He's crazy, but I love him.
そんなことが可能なんて。
That's impossible.
俺ならできる。いや、もう実践済みだ。
Not to me. I'm living proof of it. Donut looked at the result that he spent years in pursuit of, having been achieved in a short time span. He fell to his knees and bowed to his god. The god looked down at him.
さあ見ろダハド。これがお前たちが長年求め渇望した。
Now behold, Donuts. This is what you and your team sought for years.
この国で初めて全ての感情を引き継いだリライバーだ。
I am the first reliver in this country to regain my emotions without fail. Despite being open to attack, Donut and the soldiers didn't move. Rather, they couldn't. They knew simply by looking at his eyes that the person in front of them wasn't just a person calling himself God anymore. The existence they beheld was trying to enter a new realm beyond that of the mere mortal.
ああ、頭が冴える。今の俺ならいかなる真理にでもたどり着けそうだ。
Everything is clear in my mind. I feel like I can come to any truth right now.
あと一歩足りなかった時間と可能性をバカにしてきた感情とともに俺は得た。
I finally gained the time I desired, along with the possibilities and emotions I scoffed at before. But the research and experiments he conducted for his reliver technology wasn't in vain.
生身の人間や最初期の脆いリライバーでは今の解剖作業を完遂する前に死んでいただろう。
Normal humans in early reliver models aren't able to survive the dissection process that I went through.
随分と遠回りをしたものだが成果が残るというのはいいものだな。
I took a very roundabout way, but it feels good to see results finally. Scien was about to bear the operation that he conducted on his own body because of the pain and suffering he went through. Here. Scien stood from the device and took the lab coat that I was holding for him. He spread his lab coat and put it on. He then looked at Donuts sitting on the floor, then at the soldiers and researchers looking on before taking a deep breath.
俺が逃げのためにクローン体を作るのはこれが最後だ。バックアップなど不要。
This is the last clone I will make to escape from death. I have no need for a backup now.
残り23年。いや、そんなにいらんな。俺の雑用係が死ぬまでの数年の間でこの国を蝕む呪いを解き国民を救ってみせよう。
In 23 years. No, sooner. I will find the truth behind the curse of this country and save it before my maid dies.
それまではメモリーの増強も一般化し感情も引き継げるようにしてやる。
Until then, I will white paper the memory enhancing process so that emotions can be transferred for everyone. He spread his arms wide as a challenge to death.
そして解くのは呪いだけじゃない。セレスが死神と呼ばれるゆえんもこの俺が突き止めてみせる。
I will not only get rid of the curse, I will also find out why Ceres is called death. And the reason for that was twofold. He proclaimed with excitement, an emotion he didn't have before, as his voice got louder.
なんせ俺が困るからな。根性ではこれから死神に初恋をし、老いるまで共にいる予定だからな。
After all, it would be inconvenienced. I would be inconvenienced. My plan is to fall in love with death and live with her until we die of old age.
ちなみに子供は最低でも2人作るつもりでいる。
I also plan on having at least 2 children.
はい。
It's like, what? It's like, Scien, we should talk about this first. Scien. His proclamation changed into something I didn't expect at all. No one expects the Scien. Scien disregarded me as I went completely red, and called out Donut's name, who was looking on in shock.
だからダハト、こちらにつけ。俺はお前を評価している。
Which is why, Donuts, you're to side with me. That is how much value I see in you. Of course, he already made his move to end the conflict with the royal family.
ダハトさん。
何ですか。今ちょっと結構真面目な雰囲気で忙しいんですけど。
What now? I'm a little busy here trying to follow all your moods. The researcher barged into the room, as everyone stood confused by the situation. Beads of sweat were rolling down his face.
ここでの会話がなぜか研究所内に放送されていて。
The conversation here was being transmitted throughout the institute.
研究員全員が混乱状態に陥っています。
Everything's been thrown into chaos. Well, that's that. I think we won them over.
お前らどういうつもりだ。いきなり研究機材を乗っ取るなんて。
What? How dare you take control over the devices?
ダハトさんの方針に賛同したんじゃないのかよ。
I thought you guys were working for Donut.
逆らったら処刑されるって分かってるのに真っ向から反抗する奴がいるかよ。
No way is anyone gonna defy them so blatantly when they know they'll be executed if they this way.
僕たちはシアン所長の神としての才能に憧れて研究者になったんだ。裏切るわけないだろうが。
We became researchers because we looked up to Director Scien's godly genius. We never betrayed him from the beginning. Yes, let's go, science subordinates. B.
それに実直な警備兵の大半だって本当はシアン所長派だよ。
And most of the guards working here are on Director Scien's side too.
なんだと。
What?
シアン所長が感情を捨てないと宣言した以上、お前らだって対立する理由はないはずだ。
No wonder he was so confident. He knew he had loyal subordinates. Director Science said he's gonna work on transferring emotions. So you guys have no reason to fight now.
所長と一緒に奇跡を起こそう。神の領域に至ったあの人ならきっとできる。
Let's create miracles with the director. I'm sure we can now that he's in God's domain.
それは。
Let's... Donut stood immediately, knowing that the tables had turned.
それはまさか新たなメモリー。
ご名答。お前がすぐには実現不可能だと語っていたメモリーの増強をつい先ほど自分の肉体に施した。
さっきその装置に触っていたの研究所内の通信機能を使っていたからだったんですね。
The device you were sitting on. You used it to transmit what you were saying here throughout the Institute, didn't you?
その通り、やられたことをそのまま返してやった。まあさすがに国内中に放送することはできなかったが。
Precisely. I only did what was done to me. Anyway, it's not like it was transmitted across the country.
だが俺の目的は十分に果たせた。ダハト、お前ならわかるだろう。
Regardless, my objective is complete. Donut, you know what this means, right? As if summoned by the transmission, the two royals came running into the room.
ダハト殿、何をぼさっとしているのだ。結局この男が言っていることはただの夢物語ではないか。
Donut, what are you doing? He's merely speaking of his own impossible fantasies.
そうですよ。志が変わったところで過去の罪が消えるわけでもありま
Good,
せん。
shut up.
とっとと捕獲して。
He's right. A change of heart won't atone for the crimes he's committed. Hurry and arrest him while... He shouted angrily as spit flew from his mouth. Yep,
決めた。
got it.
王族の皆さん、申し訳ございません。僕はシアンさんにつきます。
Good boy. My apologies to the royal family. I'll be setting with Scien.
この研究所内で我らが所長シアンさんに害をなすような行為をすれば即刻追い出させていただきますね。
If you do anything to harm our director, Scien, while inside the Institute, we'll have you kicked out immediately. He bowed gracefully, as a fearless smile appeared on his face, much like Scien's. With Donut's proclamation, the guards who arrived quickly drew their weapons and pointed them at the royal family. The other researchers were probably in agreement, as they quietly moved behind Donut's Scien to show their obedience. Donuts! I was overjoyed at the return of our friend.
なんだと。まさか我々を裏切るつもりか。
What, you gonna betray us?
最初にシアンさんを裏切ったのはそっちでしょ。
Was it not you who betrayed Scien first?
いいですか？今回シアンさんは僕たちが喉から手が出るほど欲していた技術を実現させてみせました。
Now listen up. Scien was able to achieve results in the field we worked on for years.
現状ではシアンさん以外で実用化するのはちょっと無理だと思いますけど、
I doubt we can put its current form into practice on anyone else but Scien.
その技術をより突き詰めてみんなの感情を持続させることができれば、僕たちは本物の人間になれるかもしれない。
If we can push the technology further, we might all one day become real humans who can retain our emotions.
だったらシアンさんに味方するのは当然でしょ。その
And
方
also
が
he won't have to
理
kill
想を実
everyone.
現できる可
Yay!
能性が高いんですから。
If so, it's only obvious I would side with Scien. After all, it's the best shot we have at making our dreams into a reality.
この国を牛耳ること以外考えていない王族の皆さんよりもシアンさんの提案の方がよっぽど魅力的ですよ。
I also find Scien's proposal much more lucrative than the royal family's interest in seizing power over the country.
それに今のシアンさんなら本当に呪いを解き明かすことも可能かもしれません。そんな彼を邪魔する意味ないですよね。
Besides, there's a good chance Scien might really uncover the truth behind the curse. No reason to get in his way, right? Scien nodded in satisfaction after seeing Donut act like him, then walked over to greet him.
ダハト、来い。お前も俺と同じ領域に至れる人間だ。
Donuts, come with me. You have what it takes to join me in my domain. He didn't offer his hand to bring him back as a subordinate or a friend, but instead as a rival.
神を自
That's like
称
the
する
highest
あなた
honor
に
you
そう
can
言
have.
っていただけるとは光栄ですね。
I'm honored to receive an invitation from someone who calls himself a god. He showed a bit of hesitation, perhaps because he felt bad for turning his back on Scien for a while. But Donut looked up at his hands for a moment, then shook his head and grabbed hold of Scien's.
ふざけるな。このような茶番断じて認める。
This is outrageous! I would not allow such a farce to take place.
死の呪いに不用意に近づいて悪化したらどう責任を取るつもりだ。
How will you take responsibility if you worse the
感化
curse
す
to
るこ
death?
とはできる。
The royal family cannot overlook this. Shut up. Just accept it. If you actually wanted, like, good things for the country, you'd be like, okay, let's do this. But no, you're like, just shut up. Leave.
揃って打ち首になりたいのですか？
Do you want to be beheaded? We can make that happen.
好きにすればいい。
Like I care. Scien let go of Donut's hand and shrugged.
俺たち研究者がいなくなったら困るのはお前たち王族だろうが。
It's the royal family who will be in a predicament without the researchers here.
もう二度とリライバーとして生まれ変われない。そうなれば死の呪いに蝕まれて数年のうちに死ぬ。
You'll never be able to
それでも
revive as a
いいな
reliver
殺せ
again. The curse of death will consume you in a few years. Kill us if you like. They cannot deny that. They have no choice. Along with Scien and Donuts, there were no other researchers to act as their puppets. The royal family members gritted their teeth at Scien's provocation, only returning a glare.
それでいい。適度に俺たちの言うことを聞いていれば悪いようにはしない。
Very good. I'll make sure things will proceed smoothly as long as you cooperate.
だがまあ、今まで好き勝手してくれた礼はさせてもらうがな。
Then again, you will first need to pay for what you've done. Yes! Let's go! I love him. I love him. Scien's powerful kicks landed at each of their stomachs. The two were blown back and landed on the floor, unable to speak from the pain.
これに懲りたらもう二度と国民
Been waiting
に
for
害を
that.
なすな。生き残りたければ王宮で静かに引きこもっていろ。わかったな。
You better not harm the people ever again. Slink back to your palace if you wish to survive. Understood? Scien. He probably said that in reference to Adolf and the children who died at the orphanage. He would never let such a thing happen again. Scien made a very clear statement. Thank you very much. Scien smiled silently, hearing me give my thanks with a shaking voice.
残りの王族たちにも表明せんとな。だがまあ、これで決着はついた。
I better let the other royals know. But at least we're done here.
ん？
Phone call. Could that be Yves? I quickly took out the transmitter that was given to me. Is that you, Yves? Oh, you're alright?
ああ、なんとかね。ヒューゴもちょっと怪我はしたけど、命に別状はないよ。
Yeah, sorta. Hugo got hurt, but it's nothing critical. Thank goodness.
今も館内放送でいろいろ聞こえてくるけど、作戦は成功したと思っていいのかな。
I heard the broadcast. But is it safe to assume everything went as planned? Yes, of course. Scien was able to make his experiment a reality. Oh, you two able to move? If not, I can go get you.
マティスたちに助けを頼んだから大丈夫だ。だからあんたらはそっちに集中してくれ。まだやらなきゃいけないことがあるんだろ。
I already called Mathis for help. So we're good. You just focus on what's in front of you. I'm sure there are still things to do. Well...
貸せ。
Hand it over. Scien took the transmitter from my hand.
クルーンども、ご苦労だった。
Karun, well done.
お前たちがいなければ、今回の作戦の成功はなかっただろう。感謝している。
Without you two, this operation would have failed. Thank you. They're like, yeah, it worked.
ん？聞いているのか？
Can you hear me?
聞いてます。けど、まさかシアンさんの口から感謝を伝えられるとは思いもしなかったので、ただ驚いてしまって。
Yes, we can, but we're just surprised since we never expected you of all people to thank us, Scien.
お前らの中の俺の印象はどうなっている？
What exactly is your impression of me?
切るぞ。
Fine, this call is over.
さて、あいつらの無事も確かめたことだし、最後にやるべきことをやるとするか。
Now then, those two seem safe, so I can focus on finishing this up.
行くぞ、ダハド、セレス。
Let's go. Donuts, Therese?
はい。
Okay. We left the laboratory, leaving behind the two silent royals and their guards. Yay, we did it! Scien led us outside of the institutes. There, a crowd of citizens who had heard the commotion were waiting.
ちょっと、あそこにいるの。シアンブロフィワーズじゃない？どうしてあの男がここにいるの？
Hey, isn't that... It's Scien Brofis. What is he doing here?
やっと捕獲できたんじゃないか？まさかこれから処刑を？
Maybe they caught him, which means they're gonna start the execution?
拉致が開かないな。だハト。
What a pain. Donut,
はいはい、お任せください。
thank you. Leave it to me. Pick up this mess for us, Donut. Donut brought out a device that fit in his hand, then stepped forward. He took a deep breath and with a loud and clear voice, began explaining Scien's innocence. He said that the royal family's greed led to them pinning the blame on Scien. Of course, he also explained that there was new hope for a new type of reliver.
結局全部王族のせいだったのか。
So, it was the royal family's fault?
信じられない。私たちを騙していたなんて。
I don't believe it. They tricked us. The crowd suddenly began to voice their discontent with the royals.
単純な。
Everything is going exactly as planned.
こうも簡単に手のひらを返されるといっそすがすがしい。
Look at that. How refreshing to see the public opinion shift so easily.
いいじゃないですか。これでこそ導きがいがあるってものです。
Oh, come now. It just makes it even more fun to control them. You little sadist. I'm just glad the air has been cleared. You won't have to worry about having...
騙されるな。こいつらの言うことに耳を傾けてはならぬ。
Don't be fooled. Do not listen to them. The royals who were kicked by Scien suddenly appeared on the scene. One of them was wobbling and holding his stomach, probably still in pain.
そうです。彼らは王族から権力を奪い取ろうとしているだけです。
That's right, they're trying to take power away from the royal family.
ここで処断しておかないと、お前たちもいつかリライバー化の権利を盾にされて脅されてしまうかもしれませんよ。
We must kill them now, or they'll use reliable technology that threaten the common folk. Their last resort yelling didn't reach the masses since they couldn't be heard without a tool to amplify their voices. Their efforts were in vain, as everyone stared at their pathetic attempt with cold eyes. At this very moment, a revolution had occurred, removing the royal family's power over Arpachel. I was sure the king and the remaining royals at the castle were shaking with anger.
シアンさん、あの人たちどうします？
So, what should we do, Scien?
適当に放り出しておけ。どちらに非があるのかは国民の目からも明確だ。大した問題にならんだろう。
Leave them be. I doubt anything will happen since it's obvious who's at fault to the public eye. I suppose. I doubt they'll be able to fight back. The guards might appear soon to take care of... Oh, Salome's here. Oh my gosh. I feel like she's gonna reveal who she is. I noticed in the corner of my eye a certain person within the crowd. Mother? I stepped forward to look more closely. The figure of the person who I thought I saw was no longer there. Maybe I was mistaken. Or... Maybe she came because she was worried? Still, something's not quite right. Why did Mother hide from me? She didn't have to do that if she came to see whether we were okay. Feeling something ominous, I quickly headed into the crowd to search, but to no avail. Where did she go? She could be anywhere. What was Mother trying to...
許さない。
You swine. A shower of blood rained onto the ground. The blood was coming from...
Huh?
There was a knife stabbed into the belly of the royal named Colm Revivar with a prawer. No! Mother pulled out the knife from the man's stomach as we looked on in horror. He fell into his own pool of blood, like a puppet with his strings cut. The crowd dispersed, seeing the killer take the life of a royal with her own hands.
何をするんですか、あなた。
What in the world are you doing? Assuming she would harm the public, Donuts stood in front to try to stop her. No, Donuts! That's your kid.
それに新所長だってすっかり王家の言いなりなのでしょ。
Besides, isn't the new director a complete puppet of the royal family?
現に施設への襲撃だって止めなかった。そんな男がまたシアンの部下になることを素直に受け入れられるのかしら。
They didn't stop the attack on the orphanage. Will such a person honestly return to work under you again?
あなたたちは人の欲を甘く見すぎている。
You are all underestimating human greed.
新所長だけは王家と共に始末した方がいい。
Which is why I suggest that you kill the new director along with the royal family. He didn't know that Mother was determined to kill him along with the rest of the royal family. I quickly moved in unison with Scien, but we didn't make it in time.
邪魔よ。
Out of my way. His stomach was pierced deep with a knife. Donut! So he's not gonna live? Are the two of them ever gonna get a happy ending? I'm starting to think they won't. Blood poured out of his body as he fell to the ground and convulsed. No! His backup! I yelled at the researchers who were listening to the speech by him earlier. They all shook their heads. I could read their lips, which said, the two deleted his data in retaliation. I instinctively turned and glared at the remaining royal, Dominique Weverpar. But before I could make my move, she moved in front of him with her bloody knife in hand. Sensing his life was in danger, Dominique Vivapar left the body on the ground and ran screaming into the institutes.
ちまさかここに来て
Of all things. We were the only ones moving in the open area, now turned into a sea of blood. Scien moved in to try to restrain Mother, but she quickly avoided him, as if she knew what was coming, and... Mother, please stop!
あら、ちょうどいいわね。
My, what perfect timing. Ah! She restrained me with a fake hug. Mother grabbed hold of me from the front, then turned around. She quickly moved behind me and pointed her knife to my neck as we faced Scien.
ほらね、人質にぴったりだわ。
Just as expected. You're the perfect hostage. Mom? Mom, please don't. I thought I was your child. I feel betrayed. Scien looked at Mother, who was chuckling behind me, without trying to provoke her.
娘まで人質に取ろうとするとは正気を失ったか
Have you lost your mind? Trying to take your own daughter hostage?
何のことかしら。私は正気よ。この国の中で最も今やるべきことを理解しているわ。
What are you talking about? I'm quite sane. I understand more than anyone what needs to be done.
王族を根絶やしにすることか
Killing the entire royal family.
そうよ。確かにあなたたちが成し遂げたことは本当に素晴らしいわ。きっとこの国の歴史にも残る偉業ね。
Exactly. What you have accomplished is wonderful. I'm sure it will be written in the history books as a glorious achievement.
でもやっぱりそれだけじゃダメなのよ。
But that isn't enough. Mother's face next to me showed more and more hatred.
この国の海である王家を滅ぼさなければ国民たちが本当の意味で救われることはないの。
The people won't see true salvation until the pus of this country, the royal family, has been destroyed.
そうじゃなかったらリアム、私の子供もアドルフも浮かばれないわ。
Child Liam's right in front of you. You know, dying on the ground. It needs to be done. My child Liam, my other children, and Adolf won't rest in peace otherwise.
だからこの子の命が惜しいのならばすぐにでも王族全員を処刑しなさい。そうすれば私たちの悲願が叶うのよ。
If you want to save her, execute the entire royal family immediately. That will finally make our wishes come true. Her last words were like a plea. Mother, why? No matter how trapped she was in hatred,
最初は確かに打算から接触したわ。
lies.
でもあなたたちと暮らしていくうちに
Lies.
かけがえのない存在になって。
At first I was thinking of using you both for my own sake. But you both became dear and irreplaceable to me.
子供がいる幸福を思い出させてくれたあなたたちをとてもじゃないけど研究材料として提供する気になんてなれなかった。
You two made me remember the happy days I spent with my child. Which is why I didn't want to give you up to become test subjects.
それだけのことよ。
That's about all I can say. I thought she would never lose her way as a mother. My question-pitted mother was instead answered by Scien.
記憶に感情が引きずられているのか。
Her memory is affecting her emotions.
それに俺と同じで目的と手段が入れ替わっていることに気づいていない。
Similarly to me, she doesn't notice that her objective and method have changed places. Which is why she made such a drastic move. Scien was unable to move closer with me as a shield.
サロメ、お前の目的はこの国の呪いを解き明かすことだっただろう。一体いつから王家抹殺が目的になった？
Salome, your mission was to get rid of the curse from this country. When did that change to killing the royal family?
そんなことはどうでもいいのよ。私は私のやるべきことをしているだけ。目の前のことしか考えていないあなたとは違う。
It doesn't matter now. I'm doing what needs to be done. Unlike you, refusing to look at the future.
そうよ。王族は殺さなきゃ。殺さなきゃ、殺さなきゃ、殺さなきゃ、殺さなきゃ。ダメダメダメダメダメダメダメダメダメダメダメ。
That's right. I need to kill the royal family. Kill, 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 kill. No, 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 no. Like a broken transmitter, a sound unlike a human came from her mouth. Mother, please get a hold of yourself. Any more in your memory?
完全に正気を失ったか。警備兵、肩を狙え。外すなよ。
She's finally lost it completely. Guard, aim for her shoulder. Don't miss. I froze in place, not moving a muscle. Just like when he yelled at me not to move when I was held hostage. Hey, we get held hostage lots. The next moment, Scien's guard, who came to his side, let loose an arrow. The arrow grazed my cheek, and then... The arrow struck Mother in the shoulder. I used the opportunity to escape her hold by purposefully falling forward up to the ground. The knife dropped from her hand, and the guards who came to the scene ran in and pinned Mother to the ground. She couldn't move her with her arms held behind her back, but... Poor woman. Let me go. Let me go, let me go, let me go! The royal family needs to be killed! Kill! They need to be punished! No. Mother struggled with all her might, as if she didn't mind losing her limbs if it meant she could kill her detested targets. Blood was pouring from her cuts, but she didn't look like she was in pain. In the corner of my eye, I could see some researchers hurriedly carrying donuts away to safety.
大丈夫か、セレス。
And this is what panic feels like. Emotions are great, aren't they, Scien? You're alright, Ceres? And on this day, he experienced what worry felt like, for the first time. Scien ran toward me and embraced me from behind as I sat on the ground. I'm fine, but Mother... Scien, what's happening to Mother?
簡単に言うと、容量に収まりきらない感情を抱え込んだせいで、メモリーが焼き切れそうになっている。
Simply put, her memory bank is burning from an overload of emotions.
メモリーを増強した新たなリライバーになるか死ぬことでしか助けられない。
Either she dies, or she needs to revive as a reliver with the updated memory bank. What? I mean, she was already a reliver, so that seems like the best option. Although he hasn't yet found a way to use it other than the way he did with the whole, suffering thing. Scien was able to modify the memory. That also meant that she would have to bear the pain that the cloned bodies endured during the revival process. Yeah, that's... But was there a way for Mother to bear such pain as a normal human? Scien... I looked at his large hand placed on my shoulder in sports. Isn't there a way Mother can be saved? I placed my hand on his in desperation. No, no. I don't want to lose any more of my family. Unlike some stories, pleading to her to regain her senses won't bring Mother back. So the only thing I could do now was... Please help me. I asked my beloved for help to save me from impending despair.
それは
That is...
そんな女救う必要などありません。
She doesn't need to be saved. The man appeared again to outright refute my plea for help. Dominique Revepar, who had fled earlier, returned with some Royal Guard soldiers. He yelled at the top of his lungs as he looked down in disgust at Mother.
子供が殺されたのだかなんだか知りませんが、あんな残虐なことをしでかすなんて、もともと欠陥があるに決まっています。
I don't care whether her children were killed. She is obviously defective as she can perpetrate such a terrifying crime.
そう、どうせもう気が触れてしまっているのです。
She's already lost her mind anyway.
だったら適当にこの女の子供の死体から中身のないクローン体を作ってやればいいではないですか。
Why don't you use one of the bodies of her children she said she lost to make a clone?
本物も偽物も区別がつかないのですから。それでこの女だって満足する。
She can't tell the difference now anyway. So that should keep her quiet first too. How? How dare he? How dare he look down on my family like this?
黙れ。
Silence. Before I could put my anger into words, Scien's ruthless voice filled the air. Ever so clearly. His low voice sent a wave of silence over the entire area. Scien slowly helped me stand from the ground.
なるほど。これが怒りか。誰かのために奮い立つというのもまた悪くない。
I see. So this is what rage feels like. It doesn't feel bad to have another reason to help someone. His first contact with his emotion was focused on that man. He then rubbed my cheek with care.
前言撤回だ。独りよがりな犠牲はもう生まないが、見えならば喜んで捧げよう。
I'll take back what I said before. I won't sacrifice others for my own good. But I will gladly offer a scapegoat. Scien?
己のためだけに研究を重ねてきた身だが、初めて誰かを救うための研究を
I've been researching for myself all this time. But I will use this opportunity to do so to save someone else.
何よりこの女、 サロメにはセレスを俺のようなものからここまで守ってきた借りがある。
I do owe this woman, Salome, for protecting Ceres from people like me. He then looked at me and smiled.
セレス、お前の願いを叶えよう。
Ceres, your wish will be granted.
サロメをメモリーが増強されたリライバーとして生まれ変わらせてやる。
I'll revive Salome into a reliver with an updated memory bank.
そうすればあいつの狂気にも近い感情も自然と器に収まりきるはずだ。
I'm sure it will be easy. It will be easily. It will easily be able to contain her insanity with no issue. But that also means Mother has to bear that pain and suffering. Donut even said that you're the only one who could bear such pain.
そうだな。
True.
だがその苦痛のすべてを誰かに肩代わりさせた後、完成したメモリーをサロメのクローン体に移植すれば。
The royal. But if I have someone else bear that pain instead before transferring Salome into a clone without updated hearts.
完全にとはいかんし、不具合も生じるだろうが、正気を取り戻す可能性はある。
There is a good chance she will regain her sanity. A bit with a few bugs at the starts. Someone? You know, the guy over there. The asshole. Is it really possible to transfer someone else's hearts?
当然不可能だ。完全な他人の心臓移植など普通は耐えられない。
Of course it's impossible. There's no way to transfer a heart from one person to another.
だが、
That
Nah.
said, his pupils contracted, losing the warmth he showed me, and he turned his attention toward a certain man. Ceres gently caressed my hair, then slowly moved away from me. One step, another. Hey, I love him.
お前なら多少は適合するだろ
I support this decision. He walked toward the royal with heavy footsteps, as if to instill fear in him.
どういうことですか？そなたは何を言っているのです？
What do you mean? What are you trying to do? I thought about what he was trying to imply. But before I finally realized his intentions,
う。喜べ。お前はこの国の礎となる最後の実験体だ。
congratulations. You will be the last test subject to serve this country. Scien extended his hand to the man with the total opposite of heat. Frigid cold. He deserves this. He deserves everything. He was the one at the orphanage, so... Good job, Scien. Yeah, I'm really no better than he is. Let's be honest. It's kind of obvious. But no, this is a good end. I do hope Donuts survives, though. I'm still holding out hope for the mother-son reunion. I haven't given up hope yet. Not yet. He's so pretty. I just realized something. For a second, I was like, wait, did I turn the microphone back on? I did. This is very satisfying. So far, this is my favorite ending. My sadistic side for justice has been fed. Like I said, I love that CG. It's too cool. And I imagine we're gonna have after credits too.
結局全てを打ち明けたか。しかし
Oh yeah, he's poor Anko. Anko, do you want to be a godfather? So I finally let everything be known. Still.
あの男が彼女の体質に見向きもせず、その上まさかこんな形で解決できるとは思わなかったな。
I can't believe that man was able to reach that conclusion without exploiting her for his benefits.
私としたことがあの男の本性を見誤ったか。
Unbelievable. Did I actually misread his intentions?
複
He's
雑
a
では
confusing
ある
man. It's okay.
彼女がこの道を選んだというのなら、私も受け入れるしかないね。
This feels strange, but I suppose I have to accept the results, since this is the path she chose.
さて、彼女のより良い未来のために特効薬作りに協力してやるとするか。
Now I suppose I should cooperate and help cure her for a brighter future. A few months passed. Salome awoke inside the darkness of the incubator. The fluid around her slowly drained away until it was empty. The incubator doors opened, and she slowly stepped out. The room's white lights made her eyes throb.
サロメ、気分はどうだ？
Salome, how do you feel? Salome squinted her eyes to see a young man wearing a lab coat, talking to her as if nothing was out of the ordinary.
気分も何も吐き気がするわ。私どうしてこんなところに。
How do I feel? I feel like vomiting. What am I doing here?
お前はリライバーとして新たに転生した。前に使っていた肉体が限界だったからな。
You were revived as a reliver. Your old body was at its limits.
何よそれ。何もわからない。頭の中でたくさんの思い出が渦巻いていて、胸がいっぱいになる。体も重いわ。
I don't understand. There are memories flowing into my mind. My chest is throbbing, and I feel heavy. Salome held her head, thinking that it must be coming from maintaining heightened emotions for a prolonged time.
うん。その程度なら予想内の症状だ。適当に動かしていればそのうち馴染むだろう。数日経っても問題があればまた言え。
Your condition is expected. You should get used to the body soon. Contact me if you still experience any problems.
で、王族のことはどう思う？
Now, any thoughts about the royal family? How does it feel? Do you feel rage when you hear the name royal family? Do you want to go on a murder spree? No? Okay, I think we're good. You can go now. Salome froze for a moment, realizing that he was asking if she still wanted to kill them. Her eyes shook for a moment. She then shook her head.
今はただ悲しいわ。彼らが起こした悲劇も、私が犯してしまった罪も。
If anything, I feel sad right now. Sad about the tragedy that they caused and the sins I have committed.
私、人を殺してしまった。王族だけじゃない。
I killed
何
people,
の罪もない研究員も。
not just from the royal family. I killed an innocent researcher too. The reality that she killed him, due to her heightened emotions, was weighing on her.
ダハとのことか。あいつのことは気にするな、とは言えん。
You mean donuts? I can't tell you not to worry.
志半ばで死んだことに変わりはないからな。
He died before he could fulfill his mission. As Salome predicted, Donut couldn't be saved. His stab wound was too deep. Scien returned to his usual self and looked like a doctor as he tapped an old medical record on his shoulder.
精神的に不安定ではあるが、それは今まで起こったことを考えれば仕方ない。
Your mental state is still a little bit unstable. But I suppose that can't be helped considering what happened.
喜べ、サロメ。最終チェックはこれで終了だ。お前はこれから普通に生きられるぞ。
Congratulations, Salome. The final check is now complete. You're free to live life as you please.
なんですって。
What?
人を殺した私が罪を償わず普通に生き続けていいわけが。
There's no way I can live life like a normal person without paying for my crimes.
残念ながら今は法的設備が整っていないせいでお前を罰することはできない。
Unfortunately, there's no way you can be punished, since there is no legal process to deliver judgments.
これからどう償っていくのかはお前自身が決めることだ。
So it's up to you to determine how you want to pay for what you've done. Salome could only look down, hearing Scien's words. Salome was released from the facility, and she began to roam the district of Coin. But Salome didn't have a destination in mind. Before long, she ended up at the home she had spent her life protecting. She thought about Donuts, the researcher she killed without looking at his face. She then thought about the children who were mercilessly killed, leading her naturally to this location. But there was no one here.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
みんな私のせいでごめんなさい。
It's all my fault. I'm sorry. Perhaps some time had passed, as the orphanage didn't show a shadow of the tragedy that struck. There was no trace of the blood splattered along the walls of the ground, and neither was there a trace of the children. It was as if the tragedy never happened.
マム、おかえりなさい。
Welcome home, Mother. She felt a childlike warmth behind her.
見ろ。
Milo, how did you survive? She wasn't seeing things. It was one of her dear children, whom she took into their care. He was in his rebellious stage, but now tears filled his eyes as he hugged her sweetly from behind.
どうして。
Was he out at the time? When all of it happened? I mean, it's possible. But how? Just as Salome showed an expression of surprise, other children appeared and gathered around Salome. Weren't they all killed? Salome stood in confusion, as each of the children hugged her, as if they were waiting for her love. Welcome home, Mother. From behind the children came Cerez with a joyful smile.
セレス。どうして。これは。
That's a very good question. How? Huh? What's going on? How is this happening? Did they do the time machine thing, like I said? I kind of want them to have. Cerez, how? What happened? The children. The corpse risked their lives to somehow save some of the children when the royal guard attacked. It seems they were later hidden by one of our neighbors in the district, so some of them did survive. Oh, thank God. Cerez went on to explain, with tears in her eyes, that she only found out recently that some of them had made it out alive.
そうだったの。
I see. Mother, we've been waiting for you to come home. We made graves for the children in the backyard. Adolf is also home with us. The last phrase made tears flow out of Salome's eyes. She didn't lose everything. She still had many dear children here to welcome her home. Salome fell to her knees and embraced the children she could hold as she wept like a child.
本当に。ごめんなさい。
I'm so sorry. Cerez walked toward her and embraced her gently. Please don't apologize. We're waiting for you to say that what we want to hear.
そうね。私ったらまた間違えちゃった。
You're right. I made another mistake.
セレス、見ろ。みんな。ダメなお母さんだけど、もう一度私と家族になってくれる？
I know I'm not the best mother, but will you be my family again?
もちろん。
Aww. Of course. The children all responded with a smile at their tearful mother. I'm glad. That would have been too sad if she came home to no one. Our Bachel had changed quite a bit since then. Scien regained all rights and authority over the Institute. Therefore, it was officially announced that research into lifting the curse would begin in earnest, and it did. They would also embark on an investigation into the origin of the underground passage. The stolen devices seemed to be transported through the passage, which led to the other locations beside the beach. I recalled Scien mentioning that the culprit behind the stolen devices should be found soon enough, as he rubbed his sleepy eyes. Yves and Hugo recovered from their injuries, and were now living in relative peace while working at Karoom. Mathis, who saw Yves as a role model, seemed to be visiting him every so often with Jean. More importantly, this country was starting to change with Scien Bro 5 at the center. The people who saw and learned of the royal family's evil had finally revolted. The monarchy over the land was abolished. The parliamentary system took its place, and Scien was chosen as a representative. Parliamentary, there we go. Of course, he didn't seem very happy, saying that he would find someone else to replace him, so he could focus on his work. The plan was to create a legal system using books that drifted here from other countries, and with the help of Mathis Claude. It seemed he wanted to make sure that power wouldn't be in the hands of a single person, and that the cause of the strange deaths would be made public as soon as the evidence hidden by the royal family could be recovered. As for me, though, through this tumultuous change, I always have trouble with that word. Tumultuous change.
Ceres, 次は花を買うぞ。
Ceres, let's buy some flowers. Okay, understood. I had become something a bit more special than his personal maid, and was living a peaceful life with Scien. Today, we were out together, just the two of us. It had been a week since Mother returned, and it looked like she was getting accustomed to her new body. Which is why we stepped out to go visit Donut's grave.
とは言っても、あいつはどんな花を好むんだ。死者を弔うために花など買ったことがないから、わからんだ。
I'm not sure what kind of flowers he likes. I wouldn't know any better since I never purchased memorial flowers before. You don't need to worry too much. Just listen to your heart and pick the flowers based on what colors Donut liked or what would match him. It's alright to buy flowers based on your feelings.
それもわからん。ダハトとはそんな会話一度としてしたことがなかった。
That doesn't help much. I never had a casual conversation with him about what he likes. He likes donuts and sweets and his mother and he liked Nadia, but he doesn't know. I don't think he knows that he ever met Nadia. What does he like?
だがまあ、あいつはいつも騒がしかったからな。
Just get him some yellow flowers. That said, he was always noisy and a bit troublesome.
強いて言うなら、赤や黄色といった派手な色の花が似合うんじゃないか。
If anything, I suppose he would like flowers with lively colors such as red or yellow. That sounds just like him. Well, why don't we have a bouquet made of those, around those colors? With that, I called out to the florist standing at the front of his shop. The combination of the country's top researcher and the maiden of death from the Coing made us very noticeable. The florist noticed who we were, but he simply smiled and greeted us as customers. After purchasing a beautifully arranged bouquet, Scien and I made our way to the cemetery. It feels so strange, not being called Death for so long. I guess it's because Scien announced to the public that he would clear my name once everything's settled. It felt like only yesterday when he said that to the public, which made me blush again. But that doesn't mean what was lost back then will return. My sin of involving the orphanage was one that I would need to bear for the rest of my life. But I would be bearing that with Scien by my side, as I came to terms with his S. It's like you're thinking again. Stop thinking. For no real reason, I looked up and saw Scien staring at my face from the side. Scien? Is there something on my face?
ああ、いや、なんでもない。
No, it's nothing.
買い忘れたものがあった。お前は先に墓へと言っていろ。
I forgot to buy something. You headed to the cemetery ahead of me. Okay, I'll do that. What, I feel like he's about to buy an engagement ring. Please, please be buying an engagement ring. Please, please. Come to think of it, he's been looking at me like this quite often recently. I tilted my head in bewilderment. It was only a few minutes later that Scien returned to me with a flower in hand that told me, I think this matches you well. Okay, not an engagement ring, but it's still sweet. We were done visiting the cemetery. I was back in my room at the orphanage with Scien by my side. Nonet's grave was very clean and beautiful. There were a lot of flowers placed there too.
あいつは俺以上に人望があったからな。研究員たちが代わる代わる訪れたんだろう。
He was more popular than I was. I assume the other researchers came to pay their respects. I see. I feel bad for Donuts. He didn't deserve to die like that. Thinking of Mother, I couldn't say much more beyond that. The best Scien and I could do for him now was...
だがあいつの研究内容自体は良い形で引き継げている。
But his research has been incorporated in a positive way.
俺は呪いを完全に解き明かすことであいつの死に報いよう。
I will uncover the truth behind the curse in his place, as a way to avenge his death. Scien. He wouldn't let his efforts go to waste. I was sure Scien would keep his word. To break the curse of death before I died. To create a country where everyone was free to be angry, to mourn, and to love. We paused for a moment. Then Scien sat on my bed.
ところで、研究といえば少し実験したいことがあるんだが。
Now then, about my research, there's something I want to test. What is it?
こちらへ来い。
Kiss her, kiss her! Come here. Okay. He patted the bed, and I sat down beside him. Suddenly, Scien put his arm around my shoulder and pulled me close without a change in expression. My beloved looked at me with his unique multicolored eyes. I suddenly felt my heart race. Scien, what is it?
観察している。
I'm observing. Observing? Observing what?
もちろんお前をだ。
You, of course. Our conversation wasn't making sense. But come to think of it, you were staring at my face when we were out shopping, too. Was that part of your research? Maybe he was trying to observe my physical traits as that?
いや違う。
No, you're mistaken.
あれは単にお前に見とれていただけだ。
I was simply captivated by you. Huh? His words made my face hot. What are you... He stopped me from completing my question.
一連の事件を解決した後、お前も笑うことが増えただろう。お前の笑顔はつい見入ってしまう。
You've been smiling more often since the incidents have been resolved, and your smile is captivating. His whisper was so sweet that it passed through my ear and began to melt my mind.
新たな肉体に移行した後、ずっと実験をしていたんだ。本当に自分が感情を得たのかどうかを。
I wanted to test my new body, to see whether I really did gain emotions.
だが俺には手本となるサンプルがない。
But unfortunately, I don't have a sample on hand to reference.
だから観察していた。お前を見つめ、メモリーが奏でる音に耳を傾けることによって。
So I was observing you. I gazed at you and listened to my memory sing a tune. So the reason you've been near me a lot?
そうだな。いわゆるお試し期間というわけだ。
Yes, something of a trial period.
それでまあ分かったのは。
Through this, I learned one thing.
俺はお前のことが好きらしい。
That I'm in love with you. He so naturally pushed me down on the bed and whispered in my ear again. Scien brought my hand to his heart, which I could see under his collar.
どうだ、お前にもわかるだろう。
See? You can tell, can't you? Yes. His heart beat gently. The tune to which his heart beats was far from something cold. It was a beat that held color and warmth. This is strange. For some reason, my heart is screaming from feeling your heart's rhythm.
ではその鼓動、 もっと早めてみるか。
Very well. Then perhaps I will make your heart beat even faster. This was vastly different from when he put his lips on mine before. It was a kiss that seemed to seek out my existence. Scien kept changing the angle of his kiss, as if to steal the soul of the one he called death, Ceres. As he said, with each kiss, my heart screamed even louder.
これが恋をしたという感覚か。存外悪くない。
So this is how it feels to love someone. I admit, it isn't bad.
お前と強く結びついている気がするし、何よりお前のそういう顔を見ていると。
I feel myself bonding with you more strongly. And seeing your expression is quite
かなりそそられる。
quite intriguing. He whispered in a serious voice, and the temperature of my face rose even higher. Are you sure about this?
何がだ？
About what? I mean, are you sure it's okay for you to have someone like me by your side?
逆だ。お前以外にふさわしい者はいない。
Incorrect. There was no one more suitable than you. He seemed sure of himself, but I was still hesitant about his decision.
神の隣に立つのは同じ神である死神が最もふさわしい。
The god of death is the only one worthy of standing beside God's side.
だからそう不安がってくれるな。
So don't worry about it.
俺は間違いなく前回から引き継いだ記憶も含めてお前のことを愛している。
With all the memories I inherited from last time, I know for a fact that I love you. I could feel Scien's chest beating to a different tune now.
お前と触れ合っているといつもこうなる。お前の笑顔を見た時も、お前に微笑みかけられた時も。
I always end up like this when I touch you. It's the same as when I see you smile. And when you smile at me,
共にいない時間でも、ふとしたことでお前を思い出してしまう。
you seem to appear in my mind, even when you're not around. Scien,
ここまで言えばわかるだろう。
need I say more?
あの日の宣言通り、確かに俺はお前に恋をすることができた。
As I stated back then, I was able to fall in love with you. This was indeed his confession of love. In this country and in this world, this godlike person was directing his beautiful emotions to me and only me. His boldness and honesty made the anxiety I felt inside disappear in the mist.
それで、お前はどうなんだ？
I love you too. So what about you? Huh?
俺を好いているのであろうことは言動から察していた。だからこそ、伴侶にすると言い切ったのだしな。
I could tell you loved me from your words and actions, which is why I said you would be my wife.
だが直接口に出して言われたことはない。
But you haven't said anything to me directly.
言ってくれ。お前の口から聞きたい。
So tell me. I want to hear it from you. As he spoke, There was a look of great expectation in Scien's eye. Don't let him down. Tell it, say it, say it. How could I deny his earnest request? I love you too, Scien. There was no way I could tell him how embarrassed I was to say that. Scien, you're not a nice person. And yet, I love you so very much. I know it's strange, right? Your purity and impurity, your determination and desires, everything. I love Scien Brofeis more than anyone in the world.
上出来だ。
Well done. His confession turned into a vow.
今ここに誓おう。
I swear here and now.
この国の呪いも、お前の死神としてのゆえんも、俺は神として必ず解き明かしてみせる。
As God, I will unravel the secrets behind this country's curse and why it possessed the power of death.
だが、
But
お前の前では、地に足つけてただの男であるとしよ
I will be a mere mortal and a man with his feet on the ground when I'm with you. Yay, finally! They deserve this. They deserve this so much. Especially after
う。
this
不要
ending.
と判断していた感情が、メモリーが、お前が近くにいるだけで、こんなにも高鳴るとは。なかなか興味深い結果だ。神と死神である俺たちだが、共にいるときは、ただの男と女として、唇を重ねるとするが。
I'm very happy. I'm happy they got their happy ending. That kind of hurt when he's like, "You're with me, even in my mind." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why?" She was the end, the despair. I'm so happy. The payoff was worth it. The payoff is worth all the hurt and pain. So then what's the fan disc and the route gonna be? I want there to be a wedding. There has to be a wedding. There has to be a wedding in the fan disc. I will revolt if there isn't. You will hear me going up to Idea Factory's door and knocking on it saying, "Where was my wedding with Scien?" Yeah, there we go. Yay! I'm happy. Only thing that would make it better is if Donut lived. That was unfortunate. One day he'll live. One day Salome will live too, and they'll find each other, and they'll become family again. One day, I'm sure. I hope, maybe. Unless they're gonna get an Anko type ending and be like, "Oh well, sucks to be you." They'll get the sucks to be you ending. Oh, that's sad. That's a sad thought. Well, hopefully on Lucas's end, next week, we'll get to see Capuchin die again. That'd be beautiful. But by Lucas's hand, I feel like that would be satisfying for him. And then Scien will find a cure for Nadia and for Lucas, and everyone would be happy and they'll live together happily. Yeah. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Or something. We'll find out next week when we play his roots. And maybe even use. We might even actually finish the game next week. So we'll either end up finishing the game next week or the week after. Which is actually a really crazy thought. Like, that's insane. We've been at this since November? Yeah, I think we've been at this since November. Oh my god, we're almost there. Sorry for screaming. Sorry for all the screaming. That's gonna be so satisfying when we finally, like, finish it completely. I have an idea of what we're gonna play next. For, like, a mainstream Otome game. I might actually do the whole 2-in-1 thing. I heard some streamers do, like, a couple hour of this game, couple hour of that game. I might try that. Do we have a game yet unplayed and a game yet complete? But for now, let's embrace the results of our pain. And that's not quite right. Well, and let's reap the rewards. There we go. That's correct. Reap the rewards of all the suffering we've been through. All the death. All the heartache. All the suffering. We'll reap the rewards. And shed tears of happiness instead of pain. I like that idea. Anyway, like I said in his route, I'm gonna go cry now, but this time out of happy tears. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. And it was 8 hours. Wow, we actually went longer than I thought. It's because I did his whole, like, thing. But I'm glad I did, because I really like his roots. I really, really do like Scien's roots. But let me throw this up here. If you're curious, tomorrow we have Twisted Wonderland. And then we're doing some kind of anime or YouTube or something. I don't know. But that's what's gonna be going for the rest of the week. Whoop. There we go. So, I'll probably end up cutting this into pieces right now, after I end. You know, so it doesn't, like... Because I know when I cut the VODs into pieces, at other times, it's kind of random. It probably looks kind of random on, like, when someone views recent videos or something. Also, no harm in doing it now, though I kept telling myself I'll make it, like, a mark where each chapter ends. But I don't. Oh well. It's fine. It's only 5 a.m. Rethink that. I don't know. I might find some coffee here left, so maybe I will do it. Who needs sleep, right? We just need bread and coffee. And puzzles. Anyway, thank you for coming, everyone who joined by, and everyone watching. I hope you join me for next week too. I'd love to have y'all. Anyway, I'll let you all get going. And I hope you all have a good day. Hope you all have happiness. And love and joy and all that good stuff. and hope to see you again. Okay. You all have a good day, night, morning, evening, afternoon. Wherever it is where you are. And I'll see you again, okay? Alright, bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone! Yay! We did it! Yeah! I'm so cringe.